Welcome back to the Fan Speak Network and another combo episode, another kind of collab here. We've got Degen Power Hour now on Tuesdays, then going right into NFL betting cards. So you have Steve and I for the next hour and a half or so talking about best ball portfolio, looking at week 14 and DraftKings and Underdogs dailies week 14, and then we will do a couple Underdog daily live drafts. So we will get into that. And then, of course, the NFL betting card spread and Tyler will come on around 6 o'clock and turn into the NFL betting card. We got our guy, Mike Robb, in chat. Meg, is everything okay? Can you hear and see me?
I think you said that before you jumped on. Because
well, that's fair. That is obviously always fair. We will soon have our intro end of next week, our new intro courtesy of Jamie. So that is very exciting. New intro coming by the end of the week, but a couple other things we have. We're going to wait for other people to join in chat. A couple other things. I'm going to tweet it in a minute. Anybody that wants to join us in chat is eligible for a free Substack subscription. Of course, we have our Degen Substack, only $34.99 a year. Link in the description. You can see at the bottom. But for the end of the day, I feel like I'm on a infomercial. But for the end of the day, it's just $27.99. That's right. We had a Thanksgiving through Giving Tuesday sale. So it's $27.99 through today. Link in the description. Get the Thanksgiving sale. Check that out. A few people have joined, which has been really nice. And then we're trying to get more people over to our Discord. But basically, Substack, of course, it covers all year round best ball season. You'll get all of our rankings for all the different formats. You'll get 3 to 4 articles a week, and in season usually more. Almost every single day we're sending something, and then of course we'll do some sub only shows and that kind of stuff, and anybody who at least signs up for free can get into our Discord. But again, take advantage of that sale, $27.99. But we will be raffling off one after. I'll let Steve chat, and I will be reminding people that we are live here. If you're watching on YouTube, watching on Twitter, come over to the YouTube streets. Hit that like button, say hi, like Mike Robb, and our guy Charles. Charles heading to the Dog Bowl this week. Yep. Just tell me who to draft in the 12-man UD. That's right. We've got a Dog Bowl. He and Chad Candles are the guys we're rooting for. I'm sure there's other people we know and love in the best ball space, but we are rooting for you and Chad Candles, Charles. Let's do a 1-2 finish. But that is going to be the question. I'm sure you're ripping a lot of 12-mans this week to practice. Yeah, definitely Dark Meg and Steve today. I want to hear some hot takes. We got Eddie. We got the Stag in the chat. Good to see you, Eddie. So Steve, why don't you talk about, obviously week 13 it was a very, very, very low scoring week. We had an amazing Thanksgiving slate. Black Friday, obviously Bears dominated. And then, as expected, it was a gross Sunday slate, as expected. Sunday night, our Washington, I can't say Commander still, but our Washington team, put up a big fight, took Denver to overtime. And then Monday night, also, that was not expected for Washington. That was fun to watch, even though they came out on the losing end of that. And then, of course, last night, Patriots pretty much blew the doors off the Giants. But a very low-scoring week after a very exciting Thanksgiving slate. Why don't you talk about that? Well, I remind people that we are doing a giveaway courtesy of Jamie, and remind people that we are live.
Yeah, even including the Thanksgiving slate and Black Friday game, just from best ball standpoint, it was kind of a low scoring week. Patrick Mahomes might still ended up quarterback one. He was on Thanksgiving. I think he still may stay that way because nobody really separated themselves. You had a lot of 18 to 22 point games, but not much on the high end. And he did have a couple of receivers go off with some big games. Not much from the running back position outside of Bijan. Overall, again, some 18 to 20 point games for guys like a Chain and James Cook and a handful of others. But not just a crazy big scoring week. And tight end Brock Bowers kind of had a big week. But beyond that, not a lot of big scoring there as well. So, and we also had some real dud performances, even from stars like some we expected, say Justin Jefferson with Max Rosmer at quarterback, but Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think that had to be the biggest shock. I mean, guys got 100 yards or touchdown, I think every week but one, and he gets 2 for 23. So that was definitely a big surprise. however you're playing it or prop betting it. And he was one of my favorite props just because he'd been so consistent. I figured they'd keep going to him. But Vikings, that was the one thing they were able to do is stop him. So overall, though, we go back to having bye weeks this week. 4 teams on bye. Patriots, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers. So, the interesting thing with that is, Giants are obviously a weird situation, but those are like actual legitimate starting quarterbacks, some top end plays at every position. So we'll see how that shakes things up heading into the best ball playoffs. This, of course, the final week for best ball playoffs. And, there are definitely going to be some teams that we're rooting on. Everyone's going to be rooting on that needs, probably to thread the needle here. So we'll get into more of that later. But, this is the final week of the regular season for the best ball season. And, we got some interesting news today. I just saw before we jumped on my guy, Adam Thielen. Did you see where he goes, Mick? He is going to the Steelers. Meg, you're on mute. So you're reminding that for everyone else. So Adam Thielen going to the Steelers. Unfortunately, probably gets out of Minnesota a little too late. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes down the stretch. Steelers are still hanging on because the NFC North, or I'm sorry, the AFC North is looking like what team is the least dysfunctional right now with who's going to win it. So Bengals got the big win Thursday against the Ravens. Ravens look real bad. Sorry, Mike. And Steelers don't do much to improve their standing on in tough game. Even if they got a loss against the Bills, that was a close-fought game. I think a lot of people would be thinking about it differently. But right now, you have 3 teams, and I don't know if anyone feels good about any of them.
Am I off mute now?
Yep.
Okay. A couple of follow-ups here. I just tweeted that in 10 minutes we will raffle off the free Degen Substack subscription, annual subscription that is courtesy of Jamie Pirog. We appreciate him very, very much. And he created multiple songs and intros for us. I think he sent me another one. I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet because we've been so busy, but very, very grateful. Jamie, I said, let me send you a gift card. He said, no, please raffle off a Substack subscription. So very grateful to him. I just quote retweeted that, join us live, come over from Twitter, join us live in the YouTube streets, and we will be raffling that off. Have to be in the YouTube chat. So you have to say hi because I'm only putting people's names that say hello. Put in anything you'd like, what you're rooting on this week, who you're rooting on this week, anything like that. I just need to see your name in the chat for me to do a raffle here in the next 10 minutes. So Steve, if you could retweet the tweet that I just posted, maybe, or quote retweet, the live link, either way, to let people know that we are doing this raffle here, courtesy of Jamie. And then we will get into it. Best ball portfolio, early look at week 14, of course, which is, as Steve said, massive for all of us, because if you're watching this channel, whether it's live or on replay, you're probably a best ball diehard like us. And so week 14 is massive here to find out which teams are moving on, obviously. And, obviously Steve and I in the season long format took a hit this week, but still rooting those on too. So week 14 is absolutely huge. So we'll talk about that from DFS and Underdog perspective. And then Spread and Tyler, maybe Jamie, I'm not sure, we'll jump on to talk about, honestly, the betting card, which sides and totals they like and that kind of stuff. So let me get to the chat really quick. We got Eddie in here. Most people in here probably already have a subscription, but we want to raffle off a free subscription. Only thing older than the average age of the Steelers age preference is Steve on the dating apps. He loves giving you the hard time on the olds. I absolutely love it. Ravens Steelings looking lame duck 4 seed this year. Yeah, it isn't. And I did not not know the Thielen news.
Yeah.
Not fun fact, my phone was broken for a few days, so finally got it dealt with and have a new cell. Back reconnected with the world, but the few days not being on Twitter quite as much, just on my laptop, definitely felt like I got less news. But so did the Thielen thing happen today or yesterday?
Today. Like an hour ago, I think.
Did not know that Steelers would be a great fit, though. Hurts my Roman Wilson bags probably, but Steelers is a good fit. You know, they need something.
They also need to functionally change their offense and not run Jaylen Warren into the line 30 times a game to get 40 yards.
Why are they not using my guy Pat Frymouth? Can I just ask that?
That's my point. Is
the times they do target him a lot, he has 4 touchdowns in 2 games, but like he looks good when he gets the ball in his hands. It's like, why are we not getting that going more if it's just DK?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like when in games where they've gotten him involved, he's popped off for a touchdown, and particularly that one Bengals game with 2. But yeah, there's so many times where they just don't get him involved, and it's like that just seems like a big mistake. And this is the issue that the Steelers have: is their offense is just not logical. And it's not like, for instance, the Bills didn't throw the ball well in their game against the Steelers, but they ran for 200 yards.
Right.
If you're able to do it on another way, then okay, I can give you a pass for having.
Which, by the way, big L for me this past week was, always targeting the Bills' run defense, and they're both kind of going to get there, and Jaylen Warren's going to get there in rushing, and Gainwell's going to get there rush receiving. Neither of them got there. Gainwell was much closer. Warren wasn't even close against the Bills. I think the second Giants have the worst run defense. Bills second worst. I mean, neither of them got there, and Warren wasn't close, and Gainwell was very close, but and more involved in the receiving game. So very, very frustrating. But I think Thielen, to Eddie's point, that's a good landing spot for him. We got Go AZ cards. I'm rooting for Mike Evans to come back just in time for the best ball playoffs. We will try to do a best ball playoffs kind of preview show next week, like separate from all of our other content. And yeah, like when he comes back, because there are some good targets. Don't they play like Miami and what is the Dolphin, or excuse me, Bucks? The Bucks playoffs. Bucks playoff schedule.
Bucks week 17.
Okay.
I don't remember week 15, 16.
I was just about to look up Bucks schedule. They play Saints this week, then Falcons, then Panthers, then Dolphins. So Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins. Yeah. So yeah, to Charles' point, let's go. Let's get Mike Evans back, because I have some teams that might push through. I think maybe one sprint team and a couple other teams, and boy, that would be fun to push on in a low own. And we'll talk about that when we do a playoff specific show. Because that's the great thing about BBMDB. Okay, who's low own going to playoffs, and those kind of edges and interesting things. Says if Evans can come back next week, we all know he'll average 215 yards to get 1K. I love it, Mike. We are all rooting for that for sure. Marion Hampton coming back last week, killed for. Is he supposed to come back this week, Steve?
Yeah, they did say he'll come back this week, but boy, everyone I think had it just assumed he'd come back the week after the bye, and that really hurt, because Vidal had another good game, and it's like Hampton and Scadaboo are the 2 rookie running backs where if they stayed healthy, you just see what could have been, because they've had so many situations where their backups have gone off and had good fantasy games. Even last night, Singletary, Tracy, even before he got injured, Singletary was kind of doing more. And Singletary had a pretty decent game. And it's just like some combination, Scadaboo is going to probably have a good game. And we've seen this multiple times with the Giants. We've seen this multiple times with, namely, Vidal replacing Hampton. And it's just like, oh man, what those 2 guys could have done, if not for the injuries, is very unfortunate, because I have a lot of both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. All right. I'm putting this in the, I'm going to give it another couple minutes and I'm going to start creating. Oh, we got a Gritty in here. See, Gritty comes on. We got Jeff Cooley in here. So this is exactly what we wanted. Come over from the Twitter streets to YouTube, say hello, and then we'll enter your name in a raffle because we're giving away a free year of Degen Substack courtesy of our guy, Jamie Pirog, and we are so grateful to him. I'll give it another couple minutes, but I will work on a little raffle, and then we'll get over to the best ball portfolio again, then week 14, and then phase into a fun little collab here with Spread and Tyler talking, of course, NFL betting card, what sides and totals to bet to kind of kick off the week. All right, so Charles says being Cardinals fans killed my portfolio. Yeah, now Harrison's going to be back out again. I mean, how long is that looking to be?
He can't stay healthy. I haven't seen an update on that, but yeah, he can't stay healthy this year. Obviously, James Conner going down, Kyler. They've just had a terrible Benson, even Conner's backup. So yeah, it's just been totally brutal outside McBride.
Eddie said he had a few teams on the cusp now, like 40 points back. Yeah. And this week it's like, is it going to be another low scoring week, a high scoring week? How much is the threshold? What do you think the threshold is, Steve, to like, when we look like, I still have a chance because I'm 25 points back or 40 points back. Like, what do you think the threshold? Then I'll answer.
And this is where your team relative to what's out there week 14, because if you're 30 points back, but the guy has McCaffrey, Ted McMillan, and somebody else, like Wan'Dale Robinson, then maybe you have a real chance at 25 points back. But if you're I'd say under 20, I think you have a real good chance. Or you have a chance, obviously 5-10, really good chance. But other situations are going to be dependent on these injuries and, like who's on bye this week.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What number did you say? I'm trying to look for. What number did you say is the number?
I mean, I think 20 points is very doable in a single week.
Right.
Like, can there be situations like I remember last year? I had a situation where I was up by like 40 points, and Chase and Burrow had that monster game Monday night, and I had multiple week 14 buys. And so I had a relatively low week, and I lost. I lost some spots last year because of either, Josh Allen had that monster game, Puka Nacua had a monster game that week, and Chase Burrow. So there were just some big games out there. And to your point, like it's the difference is it a high scoring week? Maybe a high scoring week, you could come back from 30 points,
right?
If you're the team scoring high. If it's a low scoring week, then even 20 points could be a stretch just because there's just not a lot of points out there.
Okay. I'm going to, let me first get through the rest of the chat. Then we are going to do this wheel of names. Let me, again, do I still have the banner up? I'm crushing it right now. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to make sure that is up. Yeah, I did want to ask you about that kind of threshold because that is going to be so interesting this week, obviously. But Jeff was so kind. Are you still crushing marathon? So I had a portfolio of 53 marathons, and I drafted Scatterboo in like 80%. So, going on in week 9, I was crushing marathon, meaning like I had, I think like 4 in the top 500, 6 in the top 1,000. Obviously the big one I've been sweating at, near or at the top. And, obviously the whole entire portfolio has gone down since he went down, as did my heart. That has taken a big hit to the whole marathon portfolio overall, and we'll pull that up over in a minute. But I was still hanging in there. I got into first place, I believe, like week, 7 or 8, Steve? And then kind of was there for like 3 weeks and kind of went back and forth. I think 2 weeks ago, I was in third. Last week I was in 5th. I had a terrible, I mean, like 88-point week 13 for that particular marathon team. We'll look at that in a minute. So I'm now in like 21st, but still in striking distance for 4 weeks, in my opinion. It's going to be rough this week because McCaffrey's off, and obviously I don't have Scatterboo, and I've injured running backs. So it's going to be Jonathan Taylor and Rashad White. So I'm definitely going to need my flex to come from receiver or tight end. But if we can get through this week, and then my guys can kind of pick it up. Also, Steve and I talked about my marathon team. Like, just guys have just not been doing what they kind of were doing, like Roma Dunze, like Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, well, T. Higgins was out this week. Diggs last night, So, a terrible week this week. I'm in 21st. Hopefully I can still make some noise. Would like to still fight for the top. We will look at that in a minute after the raffle. Steve, Gritty says, Steve, we are in 1st and 3rd by just 2 points in a Husky that he's with you that you had streamed. Good luck in the playoff rounds. That's awesome. Good luck to you in the playoff rounds, Gritty. Yeah. We're, rooting on your portfolio. Hopefully we see you at the, top of the leaderboards here in playoffs, and good luck to you too. And hope your, week 14 goes well for you and everybody in here, because we know we're all best ball diehards and sweating it out. Yeah. And so we talked about the kind of the cusp. Mike says, kind of hoping Kyron Williams is out. So is he questionable?
Yeah, he got banged up. I think it was an ankle injury. I haven't seen any updates today on if he practiced or anything.
Yeah, and Charles says it all depends how many week 14 players you have or face. Like Steve said, it's not like a hard number. It's going to depend how high scoring, how low scoring, how many 14 buys, how many week 14s you face. So I was just kind of wondering, like, that threshold of what you really still feel like there's a chance. Weeks with 100 points, but 30 is still feasible. Probably. Jeff says I have 88 points all the time. Injuries killed my portfolio, and Mims and Thielen. Well, again, there's, the injuries have been brutal this season for everybody. And, the Scatterboo one definitely hurt Steve and I's portfolio the most, but injuries are rough across the board for everybody. But we just got to hope that we created enough good teams, that, still Steve and I are still hoping to be over 20% advance rate. And I'm still hoping that I don't have any more 88-point weeks, because I had, like, my highest week was 193 when it was a high scoring week. Most of my weeks at the beginning of the season were 130 to 160s. And then the last few, ever since Scatterboo's injury, have been like 120s, 130s. And then this week. So hopefully I can bring it back. He needs Kyron. Okay, this is the guy giving away the Substack. So we are going to do it in just 1 minute. So our guy, Jamie, I won't put you in the thing because you are the one raffling it off and paying it forward, Jamie. And we appreciate you. And Jamie Bruni said he'll have the new open with the new song end of the week. So look for that as well. Gritty says, my best drafters team in 193rd right now. Are you still towards the top, Steve? Oh, we got our guy Who Hames in here. He already has a subscription, but he can pay it forward. I'll put his name in the wheel too. What is, to answer Gritty's question, do you know your highest team, or have you not looked recently?
My highest in main event is 363. My highest overall is 18th place in a mini.
18th in the mini. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're rooting for the drafters teams too. Got our guy Who Hames in here, and Chase Brown, Henry, a chain. Yeah, and that's what we want to look at. We want to do a playoff show next week after we know what we are working with. There's some teams that we love that won't make it. There's some teams that we don't like that will, but then there are going to be some teams we love that make it, and what we're rooting on. I saw you sent a new one, Jamie. I haven't even, it's been a wild week, but I will make sure that I will check that out. Thank you so much. I will check out your recent email. You're awesome, and we appreciate you. Paul says, I thought 20% off was a great deal. There was 100% off option. Well, courtesy of Jamie, there will be, and I will put your name in too, Paul, and whoever wins can pay it forward to somebody else they like in the industry, because I went ahead and put in everybody's name in chat here, outside of Jamie, who is raffling it away. Meg broke her phone in a dance off at the club this week. Nobody wants to see me dance. So that was not how the phone just overheated and died, but got a new one. Yeah, I can't wait to listen to the Christmas Jam.
Stalking Scatterboo's Twitch, and it it overheated and died.
Yeah, it overheated when I was stalking Scatavoo's Twitch. That's absolutely a good idea. But to Paul's point, whoever doesn't win or wants to let other people know, 20% off is a good deal because you're getting the Substack for $27.99 for an entire year. And again, it'll have best ball rankings. We did the rankings. I did rankings for the marathon. Steve did rankings for the sprint. There's a couple of Steve's teams in sprint. He has a good advance rate that I love. We did, Superflex, all the different rankings for Underdog and DraftKings. So it's really good best ball season, which will be here before you know it. But of course, we're sending stuff out almost every single day during the in season for DFS, Underdog dailies, and NFL bets. Okay, I think I caught up with the chat. I think I got everybody. Let me see if I have the most of people who are on. I have if you outside of Jamie, if you win and you have it, like Mike Robb, or Who Hames or Paul, you can pay it forward to somebody else. But Mike Robb, Eddie, Gritty, Charles, Jeff C, Who Hames, and Paul. Right? Am I missing anybody, Steve?
I think that was everyone that commented.
Oh, we got a good old Spice commercial of a guy wiping his armpits. So you have to deal with this. And I need to find the ones that the Toxic Tower uses and Pete uses. That's way more fun. So, okay. So you said I did get everybody, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. So winning a year of Fanspeak Degen Substack, courtesy of Jamie, is, and again, if you already have it, you can pay it forward to somebody else. I don't think Jeff has it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Jeff C, you have won a year of the Fanspeak Substack, courtesy of Jamie. We are very grateful to Jamie for paying it forward. So Jeff C, please, if I missed it, if I somehow missed it and you do have it, let me know who you want to pay it forward to. If you don't have it, which I don't think you do, then please, and thank you for asking about my marathon team and rooting that on. Please just DM me on Twitter. And it's Megs08DFS, and I'll make sure to share that. Just DM on Twitter, and I will get you set up with a free subscription courtesy of Jamie. That goes to Jeff Cooley. So yeah, we got congrats to Jeff. He's excited. You're not gonna. And so this is from Jamie. Make sure to put me in twice. So this is he does not. So yeah, he does not have it. So DM Megs08DFS on Twitter. I will get you set up within 24 hours. We can get you over to Discord. We're having some fun chats there too. So we appreciate it. All right, Steve, now it's time to talk through the basketball portfolio, which again was not a fun week for you and I, but we power through and we keep it moving. And so let me pull that over as well. Yeah, congratulations, Jeff. We're excited to have you get all access to our Degen Substack, but also get you over to Discord. And I'll include that in the link as well. So let me bring this over. BBMDB. Okay. So I'm just going to, as you know, I only have 24 BBM teams, advancing 4 right now of the 4. And I can pretty much have them now memorized by the dates because most were content. So 7/18 was the one with Candyman. That's been quite honestly one of my favorites. Always my favorite is with you, Steve. But I really like this team. It's a pretty heavy Dak stack. Oh no, sorry, it's just Dak Lamb. I had that messed up. For some reason, I thought it was a heavy Dak stack, but double anchored by JT Jacobs. And some of these receivers might have low advance rates. The bottom isn't but having Kittle and then still 2 other tight ends, I like that. And then having healthy, you have JT Jacobs and then still have, they may not be doing much, but Pollard and Ramondre.
Yeah.
Ramondre got really active again. So this is the team with Candyman. 830 was one of the very few teams in the 24 that I did on my own. It was my last BBM. So I like this one, anchored by McCaffrey. And then, I don't know, is Pacheco even coming back? He's only given me 11 points this year. He came back last week. That's right. Never mind. Montgomery, RIP Scatavoo, and then Monangai. Hold on.
Yeah, how about Kyle Monangai?
Yeah, I mean, Steve, I'm so bummed out. We'll get to my marathon in a minute, but even if I drafted as much Kyle, or for every Taj Brooks I did, at least half the Monangai. So I'd always in the marathon and really a lot of drafts in the 17th, 18th round, take a rookie running back, right? And it would rotate between Taj Brooks, Brashad Smith, Kyle Monangai. It was a lot of your favorites, right? Because I, lean on you for prospect stuff. I mean, it was JCM before he moved up, and now he's gotten unseated. Then it become Chris Rodriguez, who is now doing stuff. But as far as rookie running backs, it was by far and away the most was Taj Brooks, just because attached to like what I thought was going to be one of the highest scoring offenses. And then Brashad Smith, Kyle Monangai, little Jarquez Hunter, who hasn't done anything, obviously. But if I had even just like half, I needed a lot more Kyle Monangai across the board and in marathon. But if that marathon team who lost Scattaboo, who lost Braylon Allen, and it has obviously CMC, JT, and Rashad White as its like, usable running backs now. If I had Kyle Monangai instead of Taj Brooks, who honestly was going, and I drafted that team on 8/22. Yeah, I drafted on August 22nd. It was kind of going in the same range. Or honestly, Taj Brooks was probably going ahead of him, right?
For the most part.
Yeah, so it was on August 20th. If I had him, it would be a much more comfortable. Obviously, if I still had Scattaboo, it would be a lot more comfortable sweat. But if I had Monangai with what he's doing right now, it would be a lot more hopeful sweat, I'd say. Yeah. So that's been frustrating. So, but yeah, on this BBM DB, looking at best BBM only, the first one is I have 4 currently advancing. And there's still some that have a chance, like 17 points out, and I don't have these memorized who they are. There's one 15 points out. There's one 5 points out. So there's definitely still one. And this one is Pat Fantasy Dog Pound 8-1, only advancing by 4.8. So,
look at that one. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So Burrow, Rogers, Daniel Jones, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, Tajay Spears, Rashad White, Rico obviously has been huge. But he's off this week. Keto Mitchell, double stack, Chase Higgins, DK Metcalf, Pittman, Shaheed, Tillman, Pierce, McBride is now the only one, carrying the tight end room, obviously, was cracked out. So,
but I will say only really having one guy on bye.
Yeah.
Fairly healthy across the board.
And I don't know what goes into the percentages. It's saying we have like a 45% chance to make it. It's saying this one that's in third out by 5 has a better chance at 61. Yeah. I think this is who I drafted with. I'm pretty sure Coach Speak Index, if I have the dates memorized. Yeah, I believe this was with Coach Speak, Greg from Coach Speak Index. So, we'll see. I mean, I hope it ends up being at least 4 or 5, but as you can see by percentages, we'll see. There's only really 2 definites. 97 is ours, Steve. So this top one, Candyman, the second one was one of my few that I did on my own. I do like that, anchored by McCaffrey, and still has like David Montgomery, and Monangai. And then I like the receivers and, Jake Ferguson, as like the top tight end. So, and then 8/14 is a sibling showdown when we did all 4. We'll look at our sprint team in a minute, because I really like that. We did sprint, marathon, BBM, and eliminator, and all 3 are cashing or advancing right now. So marathon is cashing well. And then the sprint team I really like. And then this is the BBM. It's definitely fallen off. So I hope it still makes it, because obviously JCM's fallen off. Scattaboo is gone. Caleb Johnson hasn't done crap. So we're really just a double anchor of Gibbs, Cook. Like the quarterbacks, but obviously May's off this week. Which means Diggs, we lost Hunter, we lost Evans. So that's why if we push this team through and Evans comes back, that gets fun, right? So hope this team can advance, because I've been eyeing it all year, and we talked about how we got all this value in it, and we'll see. And then I showed the one with Pat. So those are the 4 BBM teams. So Sibling Showdown, Pat Fantasy Dog Pound, Candyman from Fantasy Football Garage, and me. And then the one that this gives it the most chance to make it, I believe, is Greg from Coach Speak Index. So we'll see if this one makes it. JJ McCarthy is back this week, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think that means Don't think that means a whole lot. But again, bottom line, as far as our portfolio, Steve and I both had a terrible week 13, lost percentages, fell in marathon and drafters. It's rough, but you know what? We're putting on a brave face here. We're going to be positive for week 14. And we have all these lucky superstitions that we do as brother and sister that I hope we end up with a decent advance rate. I hope we have some, still our marathon drafters have some life that we can still sweat on in the following 3 weeks. And then it'll be fun next week to see, okay, no looking back. These are what's made it, and this is how it's rolling. So, Steve, let's look at, I know you lost some BBMs, so you're advancing 15 of 80. But if you notice, and again, I don't know all the factors, you have some that are advancing that it doesn't think are going to advance, and then some that aren't advancing that it thinks may advance. So, you never know how that goes. So there certainly could be some that you lose and some that you gain. Hopefully it's more that you gain than you lose, and it's ends up being more total teams than 15 of 80. Because I know you were what was your peak of?
I think like 27.
Yeah. No, I know you've lost 7 or 8 over the last few weeks, and again, I think Scattaboo was a massive one, but there's been several injuries that have kind of stacked up over time. But again, we're all facing that battle.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, we're rooting on as many to get through, and it'll be interesting with some of these, that have like some of the ones you're out by. It's only giving you a 20% or 10% chance, but you're out by 20 points. I don't know if you have let's do this in third place. I mean, I do believe Jaden Daniels may be back this week, but Bryce Young's on by, Bo Nix, Bijan, JT. And then you really don't have any other running backs, and Marvin Harrison. So maybe it is like some of the questionable tags. I don't know. But again, it depends on, who actually plays, who doesn't. So while we appreciate the percentage and appreciate everything Patrick Donovan does, the BBMDB is the GOAT. It's amazing. We love it. Need to give him a tip for sure this season. We will see here as far as what shakes out. But anything about your BBM portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just been taking some rough hits with some injuries and stuff. So we'll see. Like you said, I'm hoping, I would love for somehow to get 20 teams, but that doesn't look likely. So if I get 18, that'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go over to portfolio, and then we'll talk, marathon. You already talked about drafters, how you said your top team in drafters was 18th place.
18th in one of the minis, yeah.
In one of the minis. Was that the one that you were in first place for?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Who Ames asked, does anyone know what the current cut line is for sprinters? I saw someone tweet that today. Did you see it, Steve?
No, I missed it on Twitter.
Let me see if I can look at my likes, because I purposely liked it so I could go back to it. Let me see if I can look at my likes and quickly see. I'll try to be quick because nobody wants to just watch me search Twitter. Actually, I'm not seeing it now, but maybe I liked too much stuff.
So the number is at what, I think 9,200. Now that doesn't mean the top 9,200 teams advance, because if you look at mine, for instance, I'm advancing 2 teams after 9,200. So, it's but there's only going to be so many of those. So I'd guess anything, probably 8,700 or higher is safe. That's just a guess. But yeah, I don't know the exact number.
Let me go to sprint in here. I thought it was like a point number somebody said on Twitter today.
It's 9,300. 93 top 9,300 teams, or there's 9,300 spots, but there's only the 2 drafts or the 2 guaranteed advancing teams. So the wild card spots, there's about a little over 2,000, or I'm sorry,
right, because 7,000 are advancing.
2,003, almost 2,300 advancing.
Right.
Wild card spots.
But to Haim's point, the cut line is the point, the point total. And someone said, I wanted to say, let me look at mine. Someone said, I thought 15 something, but let me
look at mine, because I have some just flirting right above and below. So I Yeah, it's probably like 1,500, around 1,500 on the dot, because I have a team, and both of these are currently advancing at 92.54, so just above the top 9,300 teams, and then 95.08, and they are separated by less than 2 points.
And what point number is it?
1401 and 1499.
Okay. So if that were the case, I just pulled up mine in the sprint. Again, only did 24. Currently actually advancing 4. Steve, this 814 one we'll look at in a minute. Or actually, I don't think the dates are on here. But anyways, one of these is our sibling showdown. I'd be able to tell quickly. But I'm currently advancing 4. And if that were the case, then I would advance 2 more. These 2 fourth place ones, correct? Is that how you understand it? The one that's in 5400 and the one that's in 86, right?
Yeah, the 86, it all depends on how many. Like I said, I have one team in 9,500th place that normally shouldn't be advancing based on point total. So that's what it's going to depend on, how many of those are out there. I don't think there are that many. So that's why I'm guessing if you're that 8676, if it remains 8676, you're probably safe. But if it's like 8976, you might not. There's probably going to be a couple hundred that are below the 93 threshold.
Well, hopefully this one that's 24 points out, 4th place, but 1545.
That I'd say guaranteed.
Yeah.
Unless you get 0 points this week.
Anchored by JT, Montgomery, and Swift. Lost Scottaboo, and Roshan, Josh were not good picks this year. Obviously Jefferson has been, a massive letdown. It's anchored by just a few players. So honestly, I don't know that it would make much noise, but you want as many bullets. That's what we did a show on the sprint. You got to, just like you have to walk to run, you have to advance to sprint, and you never know what's going to do damage in the playoffs. So you want as many bullets in there to do it. Let me see if I can find our, that's not it, but I don't mind this team. I'll be able to recognize it. I do like this team. I did McCaffrey, Taylor, and then another time I keep talking about it on this show, another time where I kind of like the handcuff situation. I have a Bears team that I like, where I've had Swift and I can't remember which contest. I think it's actually a sibling showdown pit bull, Steve, the $20 pit bull that we have Swift and Monongai. I have another Husky team that has Montgomery, Gibbs. I have another team that has Bucky, Rashad White. And then here's an example, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. Both have contributed similar points. I'm really getting into this whole anchor, handcuff, only if it makes sense. But you'd think lines don't make sense. Well, I have a team I freaking love in the Husky. I'll see if I can find it. But I thought I'd be able to pick. I think it might be that one, Steve, that is the one. Or no, I think it is this Burrow team. So that would be fun to push a Burrow team into sprint, right? So Burrow, May, Darnold. This is a sibling showdown on 814 that I hope makes it. Burrow, May, Darnold, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery. Unfortunately, Braylon Allen is another one I lost, which would have been helpful this year because I think he could have gotten a lot of goal line carries, even though Jets don't have a ton of goal line carries. But Ladd, T. Higgins, Mbuka, Pittman, Mims, Demario Douglas. Oh, this is definitely sibling showdown. Look who's there. Tyler Lockett contributing 19.9 points, Steve.
Hey, he's still alive.
I mean, he's contributed 19.9 points, I need to say thank you, Tyler Warren, Hunter Henry, Gesicki. I think this would be a fun sprint team to push through because I'm guessing Burrow will be lower owned in all formats pushing through, including sprint. And, that's awesome. So yeah, that's my sprint situation. You're doing really well in the sprint. And I remember there's one or two that your highest place team I freaking love. So you have 25% advance rate currently in the sprint. And obviously you could get more if we look at the cutoff point of what was the number?
I'd probably get like 6-7 more.
What was the number again? 8,000-9,000, around this area.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you have, I'm counting right now, just at a quick glance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You may not get 8 teams just at a quick glance that are not advancing in 3rd or 4th place, that are above that 1,500 threshold, above the 9,200 threshold, that you potentially could get 8 more. And maybe you don't get all 8, but if you get a lot and you're already advancing 25%. So I know you've been frustrated that your advance rate, took a hit this week, just like my advance rate took a hit this week, but I think you have some really fun sprint teams and have a really good at sprint advance rate, drafting 111, currently advancing 28. Hopefully you get 7 or 8 more. So you'd be in the mid 30s. That would be awesome. Your top team at 119, I think, is a wagon. I love the very robust quarterback and running back room. Dak, May, Daniel Jones. Obviously, I know he's playing with an injury, but CMC, JT, Mason, and then Samson Brooks, because Samson got injured, right?
Yeah, so probably just have JT and Mason this week.
Yeah, T Higgins, but hopefully yeah, but then you'd still have 3 for the playoff run. Obviously, hopefully it's still JT, Taylor, Mason for the playoff run. Higgins, Pickens, Metcalf, Diggs. I love this because it's a lot of the same ones for my marathon team. Josh Downs, Christian Kirk, Brenton Strange, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz. So I love that. Any other of these sprint teams you want to look at? Because you have I
can't remember if it's the second or third one. There's another one I really like.
Let me take a quick look. Then we'll get back to Chad, and then we'll look at our portfolios real quick. And if Chad wants to look at any of their teams, we
check the other one. Maybe it fell more this week. No,
it's anchored by JT, CMC.
Yeah,
too.
No. I can't. I'd have to look.
Gibbs, JT. No, that has Najee. But I mean, doubting just the Justin Fields. That's very unlike you, just Justin Fields and Lawrence Tila. But God, Steve, all these Scatterboo teams we're seeing that are advancing, right? I mean, it just makes my mind go nuts.
No, I know.
It's so tilting. So anyways, but yeah, I think this first one is really fun. But again, if you have 35 bullets through, you gotta advance to sprint, and that'll be super fun. Okay, now let me catch up with chat. Then we can take a quick peek at portfolio, and if anybody wants us to look anything. This is a great question. Let us know if you want to look anything in your portfolio. Charles says, if Underdog got rid of either marathon or sprint, which one would you like to stay? I love them both, and obviously I'd have to say marathon because I did more marathon content. I did more marathon drafts, and I have I still believe a sweat being in 21st place. We'll take a look in that in a minute. So I'd have to say marathon, but I love the sprint. So I'd say the answer that you don't want me to say is neither, but I'd have to say marathon. What would you say, Steve?
I'd agree with the marathon also. I like the fact that every week is valued the same, even the sprint, you do have to get there, of course. But then those 3 weeks are then lumped together of equal value. I like the marathon. Every single week's the same. Like it, it helps for some of these guys who have a great start and then get injured or miss a big chunk of time and then come back. Or just like ramp up slow, or because somebody else got injured, them as a backup takes advantage of that and can use some really big weeks. So it's like, just for an example, it's like that that Josh Allen 50-point game from a couple weeks ago, that matters. That helps a lot of teams get teams to the playoffs, but that helps so much more for like a marathon format.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. So I'll firmly say marathon, hoping that the sweat continues for marathon, and that we said it all draft season, right? And, right now it's bearing out some bad luck, but we said, I believe this contest rewards good drafting, rewards good player takes, especially like player takes, like these are league winners. These are, massively outperforming their ADP or positional ranking. And Scatterboo was a perfect example of that. He was massively outperforming his ADP and positional ranking all summer, and he got hurt. So I said all along, the luck is not pod luck or what week the player goes off. The luck is simply staying healthy. And, that did really hurt my portfolio. So that's why I made big player take stands like Scatterboo, because if it goes right, then, you're going to get rewarded. You're going to be rewarded for good player takes. And believe me, I have plenty of wrong player takes. We'll do, a big analysis, of course, after the chips all fall where they may. And we'll do a big analysis after draft season, of course, of what was right, what was wrong, what we want to improve for this 2026 draft season. But, I think it rewards good player takes, and you do need luck to stay healthy, and that's why I am extra bummed out about Scatterboo, because I made such a big stand in marathon and rookie sophomores. But that's the game we play, and we got to keep moving on and rooting them on. But that's a great question, Charles. Tyler Lockett 2 TD game. Could you imagine in the playoffs, Steve? I mean,
yeah, that'd be something.
All right, so let's take a quick look at portfolio here. So I took a dip. It said 19 last night. I don't know if it corrected, but it said 19.9. So it says 20.2. So I did not counting marathon and rookie sophomores, which I did about 50 plus of each. And of course doesn't include eliminator and stuff either. Or what's the one I don't like? Weekly winners. So of 272 of these teams advancing 55, 20.2%. So yeah, I mean, I was as high, and I love this chart on BBMDB. It's a little depressing because it obviously shows your lows, your highs. I was as high as 27.2%, advancing, and it showed advancing 74 teams. So, that hurts because that's, 19 teams that I lost. And then obviously ever since this week is the week that Scatterboo got injured, one of these 2 weeks. And then it's, slowly gone down, but these last 2 or 3 weeks have been really rough for me. So, so I am at 20.2%. But there's things that I'm excited about, like Superflex, I have 31%. Like some, I wanted to have a stronger and the higher dollar good advance rates. So not thrilled with, 1 of 10 in the pit bull, or I think I have 1 bigger board, 1 chow chow. The Husky is one of my favorites. Some of these teams I really like. I have essentially 3 out of 8, so that's good. But I definitely lost a couple. I lost a Dalmatian. I lost some Pug Superflex, which I really liked. I lost I was in the Bulldog finals last year. I like some of your Bulldog teams, but not going to the Bulldog finals this year, or the Bulldog playoffs, because just these teams have just fallen off. So that's a bummer. So wish I was advancing some more of the higher dollar Bulldog, Rottweiler, Greyhound, Dalmatian, but I still am advancing some. I think I'm close on the War Room. That's a $25. Again, 3 of 8 in the Husky, 1 Chow Chow, 1 bigger board, 1 Pitbull, which, by the way, this is a sibling showdown that I really, really like, 4 Poodle. So again, it definitely a couple weeks ago was much better advance rate, but also what I was advancing, some more of the higher dollar stuff. So that's a bummer, or frustrating. But, as of next week, we're just going to root on what's live. We already showed Best Ball Mania and Sprint 24 each. I'll talk about Marathon in a minute. But Steve, I think I'll just show a couple of my favorite teams that, really rooting on that they make playoffs. And I think some of these are some of the strongest, but I believe this Pitbull is Uranize. And yes, this is a team with both Swift and Monangai. So the big week for it this week, obviously, right? In a DAC, obviously JJ McCarthy's not contributing too much, but Darnold. And we do have Travis Hunter, who we lost. But hey, Thielen's back. Double George Kittle, Jake Ferguson. I think I like this team a lot. And then there's 1 or 2 other teams. I can't remember. No, I don't think that Chow Chow is a sibling showdown, and we'll give a count. Last year we had a really strong sibling showdown advance rate. I'll do a count after playoffs next week and say, okay, we did this many sibling showdown live stream drafts, this percent's advancing. We really like these. And, and then I just hope, of those ones that do advance, that, we can maybe get a sibling showdown finals team. One of these Huskies is a sibling showdown, but I think it's actually the second highest here. Yeah. Cause this was mine. I want to say it's the second one in the Husky. But I like this team a lot. This is one I did on my own. And again, I've showed it before. Double anchor Detroit with JT, Hampton, Rodriguez, May, Goff, Rogers. There's receivers very similar to my Marathon team, kind of that, 3rd through 8th round hit kind of hard. So I like, this is probably one of my favorite teams. What do you think about this team, Steve? I fell in love with my Bulldog team, as playoffs approached. I've fallen in love outside of my Marathon team. This is my favorite classic contest. What do you think? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's pretty solid, and, this one is going to advance.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I was going to say this week is, you know, I don't think Amon-Ra is going to play this week, so it could be another big JMO week, or relying on the running back, so you could get some really good scores there. But honestly, if Hampton's back, the running back room is very healthy. Chris Rodriguez is now kind of the number one in Washington. The receiver room is healthy with Coker back. You know, some guys are up and a little bit more up and down. You know, tight end, John is one that can do much, but Ferg and Hunter Henry are pretty good.
Yeah. So this is probably my favorite team, basically, the outside of the marathon team. So let's look at yours. Oops, spelled your name. What am I doing?
I spelled it wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both around 20%. You're at 20, closer to 21% advancing. And I know, like, at your peak was advancing 28% and 458 teams. So, you know, with your quantity of 1,600 teams, you know, going from 28% to 20% is, you know, a lot of teams. And so I know you're frustrated because I'm your sister, but you know, really you were strongly in, like, for a good chunk of the season in that, that 25, you were very strongly in the 25% range, for, you know, for a while, 20, you know, between 23 and 25. But as you can see, these last 3 weeks have been rough, and you kind of went from 24%, 23%, 21 point, almost 22, now almost 21. So, and I know each percent means a lot more to you than me because of the volume, but again, hopefully it goes from 20.9 to, you know, maybe we can bump it back up to like a 22% and get some more here. But again, I know it's what moves on, and you lost a couple of the higher dollar, but you know, we'll take a look, and maybe you can get some of those back too, because we got one more week here for a big push. Looking through here, obviously we talked about your sprint, a really strong advance rate. You know, best ball or BBM, you're hoping to get more like 20% advance rate. So I'm trying to look at some other ones. I mean, there's some smaller ones like Little Board, and not to poo-poo those. But let me see here. I believe Husky, you still had a good advance rate on that. Scrolling down, I mean, there's plenty in the 25 to 30. Yeah, Husky, one is 20, one's 30. So you're 5 of 10 Husky. That's great. The Pitbull is 30, 3 of 10. That's great. I believe you said you lost a Chow Chow and a Dalmatian and a Rottweiler. So, you know, hopefully they're on the cusp. You still are advancing 1 of 3 of the Dalmatian, 1 of 4 of the War Room, 1 of 4 of the Rottweiler. I know you lost a bigger board too. 1 of 9 Chow Chow. Hopefully you can get some of those back. You know, I mean, again, I hope you can get another percent or so, and hopefully you can get some of these bigger ones back, but you're still doing well in the higher dollar. I mean, 6 out of 20 in Poodle or good advance rate contests. Again, 5 out of 10 Husky, 3 out of 10 Pitbull, and then a lot of other like 20, 25%, you know, and a Dalmatian 1 of 3, that's a biggie too. So Bulldog, you're 50%, obviously. So I was not making the Bulldog playoffs this year, not making the Bulldog finals. You have to do it for the Shalp, Steve. And you are going to have, of the 4 drafted, you are advancing 50%, 2 of 4. And this one is 721 points with the wagon quarterbacks, anchored by Saquon JT, which I'm guessing Saquon kind of be low owned in playoffs. Kenneth Walker obviously lost Scattaboo. But, you know, some fun receivers, again, drafted in that like 3rd through 8th round, a lot of them. Kyle Williams got you a touchdown. Dubs got you a touchdown this week. Henry, Gasecki, Otten. I like this team a lot. So can you please represent our family in the Bulldog finals this year? Because it ain't going to be me.
I'll do my best.
Is there a favorite team? Like I pointed out my Husky team that you I know you're not like me. I'm such a goof that I'm like, I love this team, you know, and you have so much more quantity to go through. But is there, I mean, like that one or that sprint team that we showed that has been like, as you've been, you know, going through one that you really.
I wouldn't say I have a favorite, you know.
I do. Okay. And again, everybody wished Charles good luck at this week in Kansas City. Charles is heading to the Dog Bowl. Chad Candles is too. We are rooting on Go Easy Cards, Charles and Chad Candles this week at the Dog Bowl. send all the good mojo and love to them for rooting them on in the Dog Bowl this week. We were really rooting you on, Charles. My high scoring BBM team is a 2-4-10-2. Wow. Pretty sure the only one I built this way. That's awesome. That's interesting. It's fun. I still have a couple, and that was, I had a hyper fragile 4 running back team that was in the Bulldog finals. And I have 1 or 2. You and I had one, and I can't remember if it was the Pitbull or Husky that I loved. And I was like, oh, this is going to do some damage in the playoffs. But it was like Saquon. I forget who were some of the other running backs. But it was literally like 3 top running backs and then Scattaboo. And then, so like, it was a wagon, like the first 9 weeks, even with Saquon, because Scattaboo was making up for some of that, and then it was still hanging in there. And then recently has taken a dip. And I can't remember, outside of Saquon, it would be too hard to find which one, I'm actually talking about. But yeah, now it ain't going to make it. It's like really far. It's like 70 some points back. And it was like literally in the advancing, even after losing Scattaboo, even after, Saquon having a down year, it was still advancing. I want to say through like week 10 or 11, but like the last couple of weeks have been so bad. And now it's just like a dust in the wind. It's not going to make it. Jamie says, I only did 1 big board. I'm advancing. So can you imagine winning with a 1 bullet? That would be awesome. That would be freaking amazing. I'll take a quick peek at the marathon situation for me. Obviously Steve knows, was very disappointed. He's had to be like my therapist about this team. So I was very disappointed this week. I had like 88 points. So it went from like winning 100,000 and over to the whole portfolio taking a hit, because again, before Scattaboo got hurt, I had like 3 in the top 500, 5 or 6 in the top 1,000. Now I have the team that's still hanging in there. It's now in 21st, 1 in, in the 600s and 1 right after 1,000. And then, plenty are advancing, but I'm advancing less too. I want to say I'm now at like 22% advancing of the 53 teams. But this one, like I said, it had a week 1, but week 2 through like 8, scored like anywhere between 130 to 160 and had one like 190 some week during a high scoring week. And then like week 10 through 13 has been, or week 10, 11, 12 was like 120s, 130s. And then this week with the 88, I took a big hit, but I am still, let me see if you look here, actually, I am still, so first place is now at 1862. I'm at 1816. So I am still 10th place, still only 14 points out of 10th place. Emo Cowboys in 8th right now. Some names we know. Jewish McCaffrey has a team at 4th, 12th, and 13th. Just absolutely wagon of a marathon season for him, which is awesome. Other people we know in the industry. I don't recognize Donkey from Shrek, who's right behind me there. And I've been going back, a lot of the teams, honestly, that I was going back and forth with at the top. Fantasy Football is Fun, Jaha Fan, Cowardly Chicken. They were the ones that I was going back and forth with the last few weeks. So really with this low scoring weeks, the teams that really, exceeded that, made a big move. So, I still think it's in reach. This week's going to be tough with not having McCaffrey, but again, only 14 points out of 10th. 5th is about 30 points out of 5th, and like what's 1862 minus 1816, Steve? We fit like 46 points out of first. So with 4 weeks to go, obviously, every week matters, and hopefully can put up some bigger weeks here, especially in the playoffs when not buys. So still rooting it on, though took a hit, but still rooting it on. So and of course that's the team double anchored by McCaffrey, JT, lost Scattaboo, lost Braylon Allen, Rashad White's hasn't been as good. Now Herbert and Rodgers both have hand issues on their non-throwing hand. Hopefully Herbert can still play. Hopefully Rodgers can play better with Adam Thielen. And my receivers have just Higgins was out. Outside George Pickens, the rest have just been more disappointing of late. Rome, Keenan, Diggs, Metcalf. So hopefully just can have a strong 4 weeks to close. Steve, where are you? Let me see. 115. You still have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 629, as you can see, making anywhere from 100, 300. And again, with 4 weeks left, you can still, like, 745 is your top team. I'm at 816. So you can still do a lot in 4 weeks to have some fun. And you have a really good cash rate. Like, as you can see, it goes down to the cash rate. You have a really strong cash rate in general. So if you can maintain that and pop 1 or 2 of these a lot higher, that can be a lot of fun. All right, we talked about the BBM team, the 2-4-10-2. And yes, we were rooting on Charles and Chad Candles this week. Oh, big board. Allen, Mahomes, Bijan, JT, Hall, Daddle team. Okay, is that the 2-4? Oh, wow. That is really, really, really strong. Anything else you want to look at, Steve, before we take a look at week 14?
No.
Okay. All right. Let me bring over DraftKings and we can talk through an early look for DraftKings week 14. Apply that then to, of course, Underdog dailies, and you'll bring over and we'll rip some Underdog dailies. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. And of course, if you're coming in, watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube, hit that like button. We certainly appreciate it. For some reason, you're not subscribed to the FanSpeak Network, make sure you are subscribed. We are now moving shows, doing more on Tuesdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but shows all the time. And then best ball season will be back before you know it. So make sure you are subscribed to the FanSpeak Network. All right. DraftKings, Steve, I almost shared a pet food store that I need to order my dog Rudy food from. I don't think that is of interest to people. All right. Week 14, obviously we have the 49ers, Panthers. Help me out on bye. 49ers, Panthers, Giants, Patriots on bye. Yes. So top of the board. And obviously this is just main slate. Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. And that's a big matchup, obviously. Allen versus Burrow, Cincinnati at Buffalo. Lot to play for there. Should be a fun game. Daniel Jones, obviously playing through an injury. Jaden Daniels looks like he'll be back at Minnesota. Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Brissett, Caleb Williams. So what are you liking at the top? And then we can kind of.
At the top, I mean, I think you have to like Josh Allen. The last couple of weeks have been down, but we know what the upside is. And I think Kincaid will be back. It's a much better team with Kincaid. And the Bengals, while they were able to stop the Ravens were more stopping themselves. The likely fumble, the Flowers pass interference, all the Lamar turnovers. So Allen could well be worth it this week with the big game. And especially with there being pushback, like having Burrow back makes, Josh Allen have to go hero mode. Like I just said, they got 200 yards on the ground, so Allen didn't have to do anything this past week.
Right.
That's probably not going to be the same kind of game plan they can have this next game. I think James Cook is well in play. Beyond that, it's tough. Like I can't get behind Lamar. I mean, Burrow, I think you can play. Obviously, Buffalo's defense ebbs and flows. Some weeks they look really good. Some weeks they don't.
I thought he looked great. Against the Ravens defense overall without Higgins and just Chase and, all these.
Yeah, he missed a lot of throws, unfortunately, but he got some big ones when it mattered. I think it's good having him back. I think he'll be well in play because, they with both Steelers and them being the Ravens, they actually still have a shot at the playoffs. By winning the North. They have a lot to play for, and hopefully Higgins is back. And
God, I hope
it's a good situation. It's kind of tough because we have like Daniel Jones in. How healthy is he? The matchup is good, but I just don't know what we trust. Bo Nix, we saw him totally dud in this matchup a couple weeks ago, but it's such a great matchup against the Raiders. Can they actually have a big game? Maybe. I just don't. Probably Jordan Love, I think, is interesting. Because
I'm not playing Jaden back from injury.
That's another one I just can't play. And then the Vikings D has actually looked a little better last couple weeks. A guy we have been able to play a lot, Jacoby Brissett, now faces the Rams, and the Rams just got beat. So I don't know if he's going to look good. but he's gotten 20 DK points every game he's
Yeah,
played.
look at that. I mean, what consistency. That's impressive. And it's still only
Yeah.
5.7K. I never jumped
Yeah.
on, and obviously that's a leak in my game, so maybe I need to consider that. Yeah, and then you've got Caleb Williams, Lawrence, Tua, Rogers. Well, Jane will likely be back. So, how many Mariota did he get? Yeah, you got 24.3 DK points. Anything down lower?
Yeah, I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is in play for sure. He's been sneaking over the 20-point threshold a couple times recently. Colts secondary now won't have Sauce Gardner. They're just a healthier team with getting Brenton Strange, Brian Thomas back. We saw Jacoby Myers have a good game. So from a saving standpoint, I think he's fine. But yeah, I mean, lower than that, can go back to Tyrod. Tyrod had a good game last week.
Won the Millie Maker with Tyrod stack. Yeah.
There he is. Yeah.
Yeah, against Miami. I mean, again, it was such a low scoring week. He had 21.3, but it was what you were allowed to do. And then obviously Adonai Mitchell popped off with him as a absolutely cheap stack. You could, the winner brought back Bijan. So yeah, it's like in hindsight made so much sense. I couldn't, I don't do enough lineups I would have really had to plug my nose to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think against Miami, it's still in play here. Had what? 8 for 44 rushing. Didn't think that was still that much in his game, but it was. So that's interesting. Let me catch up with chat really quick, and then we'll move on to running back, receiver, tight end before we get to the underdog streets. Because in 17 minutes or so, a little after 6, Spread and Tyler will be joining us. Talk with them quickly, and then they'll go into NFL betting card week 14. Again, if you're coming in and haven't subscribed to the Fanspeak Degen Substack, sale ends tonight. It's been Thanksgiving through Giving Tuesday sale, 20% off the Degen Substack. Jeff won a subscription courtesy of Jamie today. I know Paul, who's in here, just subscribed on the sale. Multiple people just subscribed on the sale. Join them because you're getting it for $27.99, which is an excellent deal. We're sending you stuff almost every single day. You'll get a ton of content. So it's best ball rankings. It's content every single day in season. It's articles in best ball season. Discord, which we're trying to get as many people over there. And we'll have some obviously sub-only shows as well. So a lot that is offered for $27.99, not a month, for a year. So check that out. Link in the description. Get the sale while you still can. We have our guy, Andrew, the TD King, in here. What's up, fam? He and Bruni crushed their Degen Dad's bets this week. So you can see them in Discord too. So definitely join the Substack, but then join the Discord too. But good to see you, man. Our Skins almost pulled out that upset. I know that was so, I mean, definitely thought there were some bad ref calls, but regardless, still almost pulled off that upset. And that was really fun game to watch. Bummer they didn't pull it out there. And by the way, speaking of, they had an amazing week on the Degen Dads. I am going to be updating our units, for our individual bets, because that's how I should have been doing it all along. An update to, this point where we're at plus or minus units. And then, have lost by a leg, including our Thanksgiving lotto, and another Dallas Chiefs has been a theme lately, but we'll update on parlays as well. And hopefully we can have a strong end to the season with the NFL bets, and I will be updating the units here shortly. We've got Coolers in here. Great to see you, Coolers. Loving week 14 compared to 13. Nicer team totals and player pool. Absolutely agree with you. He said in regards to Burrow, I think his mobility looked good. So hopefully he can shake off the rest and timing. I agree with you. I was impressed with his mobility, considering he's playing with a plate in that one shoe. So I'm actually am going to consider Burrow too, especially if Higgins is back. So top of the running back board, we've got JT, Achane, Bijan, James Cook, Henry, loaded room. Bucky, Jacobs, Chase Brown, loaded 6.7 and up. Where are you prioritizing, Steve?
Yeah, I do think going back to JT, I know on paper that looks like a tough matchup, but I just think, look, they need to get him going. Their season, things are just unraveling. So, I just think that they need to rely on him. He got, 21 carries this game, 85 yards, got 5 targets also. So, I mean, his yardage was, obviously we need more, and you need the bonus, but we just know he's got 2-3 touchdown upside, rushing yard bonus, combined 150 yards. I just think they need to get him going.
I thought they had already played Jacksonville. I guess they hadn't.
Yeah, no, I thought that the other day also, but no.
So what I
And
agree with you there.
but
What else do you
but
like?
then I mean, Chain and Cook just have such great matchups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we just saw the Jets get run all over by Bijan, and
Yeah.
they've been getting run over by multiple teams. And Chain's usage, surprisingly, he got like 0 passing game work last week, which shocked the hell out of me. But I don't think that will maintain. And then Cook, I mean, it's very simple. When they give Cook the ball, he smashes, and he did. He didn't get a touchdown this past game, but had a really good week otherwise. And yeah, I think he is just in a great spot against the Bengals.
Yeah. I think if you're not playing, whether you're playing from the other side, whether it's a skinny with like Jamar Chase or a Burrow stack, I think James Cook bring back like makes a lot of sense, especially if you're not playing Allen. I think that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I think those are the priorities for me up top. JT, a chain, James Cook. And of course, it's pretty loaded up top here.
Yeah,
What are you liking in the middle, like kind of 6.6K, through like, I know Cooler's just mentioned, hear me out, Kenneth Walker. It's so frustrating he doesn't get the touchdowns, and he just missed his rushing prop too because of the blowout. But what do you think about the middle here?
yeah. I mean, the middle, honestly, not a ton to like. I just don't think Swift is going to have a repeat.
What about
Maybe,
Harvey versus the Raiders?
I mean, he got there because he got 2 touchdowns. Like,
Yeah, he's not running efficiently,
no,
2.7 yards. I mean, he's
and he
actually
got,
outside of the Dallas game, he's run terribly.
yeah, and he's gotten double-digit carries these last 2 games, but it's just not translating to anything. I mean, it is the Raiders, so I think it's in play, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's just not a great situation. I think Jordan Mason against Washington, because I'm assuming
Yeah, but he's
that.
not getting many carries. Oh, is that Aaron Jones out?
Yeah, that's the assumption.
Okay, got it. Well, that would help my best ball bags because I definitely have some teetering Mason teams. What about Monangai? I mean, he ran so, I guess, against Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, Green Bay just shut down Detroit's running game.
Yeah.
Monangai is, I think, a better play than Swift because he could just get a touchdown, but I don't think he's getting 100 yards. He's only going to get 1 to 3 targets. Like, it's just not. There's not a ton there, unfortunately, for this week.
That's unfortunate because he looks good. He looks good. Again, I wish all my Taj Brooks were Monangai teams, which, by the way, you called that too. Like, I mean, during draft season, we talked about Monangai too, but I remember when they drafted him, you were like, that's really interesting because we all thought Bears were going to draft a running back earlier, and you thought that could be an interesting, good fit. Okay, so we'll have to pay attention to Aaron Jones. Charbonnet's down here, obviously vulturing touchdowns. I need Rachaad White to do something, but he hasn't. So
Corum if Kyron's out, but if he's not, no,
Yeah.
I think Neal if Kamara's out, but same thing. If he's not, then no.
Right.
So
yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. Okay, let's talk receivers because we want to get over to the underdog streets here. JSN, Puka, Chase, Devontae, Adams, just a touchdown machine. Drake London, Q-Tag, don't know if he's back. Jefferson, Waddle, Olave, and Buka. Higgins, got to monitor that. Please, Higgins, come back. Please, please, please. Flowers. They're opening up Mike Evans' practice window, I believe, correct?
I think so, but yeah.
He's not going to be back this week, but again, for the people talking about best ball playoffs, hopefully. So 6K and up, what do you like, Steve?
6K and up. I mean, give me Devontae Adams. I don't understand why there's such a big gap between him and Puka. He's outscored Puka every week, since that Ravens game.
You called that best ball season too. You said this is one of the wide receiver ones where the wide receiver 2 could absolutely outscore him season long.
And sure, Puka's getting more targets and probably has better 100-yard equity, though he isn't getting 100 yards that often. But I mean, in his last 6 games, he's gotten 2 or 3 touchdowns 4 times. Like, there's just a massive ceiling here, and he gets a couple deeper shots where every now and then, like, he's a chance to get 100 yards. It just,
look at these touchdowns: 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Since week 7, he's just a freaking touchdown machine. Just crazy, absolutely insane. Obviously, I am interested in Burrow stack, so depending if Higgins plays or not, I'm interested in both. I think that's a great call out on Devontae. Are you not going to back to JSN? I mean,
Yeah, it's
still,
not necessarily that I don't think he's going to have a 4.3 game, but to FK's point, I think the running backs are in better stack spots this week, and there's not a cheap tier of running back.
yeah,
So even my second running back is going to be like the Derrick Henrys, the Chase Browns,
yeah,
like 6, 7 and above. So, it's tough to also pay up for a JSN. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, if he gets that 40-point game, he's going to burn you. But if he gets 23 points, well, Devontae Adams can do that for $1,300 less than
Right.
his other receivers. So
Just have to go to Mike's joke. Absolutely make the one leg away bridesmaid absolutely hysterical. And Cooler's making jokes about Kenneth Walker, but jokes aside, 5,600 Walker is okay. And I agree with him and you where I want to pay up for the running backs. Like
yeah,
you said, even if the running back two is like a Henry or something like that. So I think that makes a ton of sense. So then that means we've got to find some mid-priced receivers outside of like a Devontae, or if you're going with any kind of Bengals stack. So what do you like in the middle here? Obviously, Evans isn't playing this week. I don't think Marv's playing this week. Rome, my God, could you please do something? 5.7K, but very tough matchup. Jacoby Myers, Michael Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin. He didn't do anything. He cost us a parlay on Sunday night. Debo, Pittman, Metcalf. I need you to do something too. What do you like in the mid-range here?
yeah.
Maybe go back to Christian Watson. I mean, he came through on Thanksgiving, 4 for 80 and a touchdown, 18.3. Still only priced at 5.2K.
Yeah, we'll
Interesting.
see. Golden being back, what that
Yeah.
means. I
But
don't hate
is Reed back?
that. Not sure yet. So yeah, it's now a very
It's getting crowded. Yeah.
crowded receiver room. One of my favorites is probably just given the price, Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
He's still Daniel Jones' guy.
Yeah.
And I could see Pittman having a good week. I could see a Colts players. This game's like for the division, so
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
important game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Pittman, 5.4, Pierce, 5.1. I think
yeah,
both are angles. They need to get them going despite Daniel Jones playing through injury. And we hope they lean on JT too, and that JT has a big game, but there's no reason that, one of these receivers couldn't pop off too. So I like that call. Or Warren when we get to tight end. I mean, everybody doubted McLaurin against, in his first game back. McLaurin, honestly, the offense, to Andrew's point, we almost pulled off an upset on Sunday night. The offense just looks so much better with McLaurin. I thought that in the very few games he's played, because he's played very few games, but he's produced in the games that he's played. I think he just missed a touchdown in the Vegas game. He had a touchdown in that Kansas City game where he got re-injured. The first two games were duds, but obviously Jaden's injury has been massive. Obviously Washington's old and needs to, get younger. But, I do like McLaurin at 5.2K. We saw what he did against Denver. I don't mind going up against Minnesota. What do you think about that?
I mean, Minnesota's been very up and down. They've given
Yeah.
up some big games through the air, but a lot of times they have shut down opposing receivers. I don't hate McLaurin because the price is fine.
Yeah. Just so cheap.
There are some other slightly more expensive guys that you scrolled past that I'm more into.
Like who were some of the ones?
Jacoby Myers, Michael Wilson, assuming
Yeah.
even in a tougher matchup, I think Michael Wilson is very much in play, assuming Marv is out.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, like I said, looked really good. Cortland Sutton, if I'm taking a Denver receiver, that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
So I think those guys are just in play with better situations.
Yeah. Okay. Anything low before we get to tight end and then go over to Underdog?
I mean, I think you can take a shot at a Jets receiver, Mitchell or Mechie.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's not a ton that just jumps off the page.
I mean, the prices went up, but they're still reasonable. So I think that's fair against Miami. Okay, let's go over to tight end. Cooler says, I like Mbuka Godwin because Well, yeah, I also like the game environment overall for Tampa at home with most of Baker's weapons coming back. I really do like that call out a lot too. Some more expensive guys I'm into. Fancy streams could be absolutely clipped for gold. You are so right, Mike Rob. That's some of the more expensive guys I'm into. All right, let's talk about some expensive tight ends we're into. That starts with, of course, McBride all the way up to 8,000, Bowers 6,000, Tyler Warren 5,000. Nice even numbers there. And then you've got Zach Ertz 4,500. Kincaid, you think, is coming back potentially 4,300. And then that has been a gold mine against the Bengals, but we've got to see if he's back. If he's back, I'm definitely interested in that because the Bills passing game has struggled without him. Pitts, Andrews, Juwan Johnson, Strange. What are you looking at before we go dumpster diving of the expensive guys we're into?
Of the expense, I mean, McBride, particularly if Harrison's out. I know he's 8,000 now, but he's getting, he's got upside of 30 points. So it is gotten really expensive. So you got to have the right kind of build. I like Warren against the Jags. Bowers, I just think it's a tough matchup against Denver, though Ertz just ate pretty well. But it's just Geno is just so bad. I mean, I know he got the 2 touchdowns, but this was a game where they were behind the whole time. He only got 4 targets.
Yeah,
he did a lot with them, but it's just like, oof, it just worries me.
I don't
I think you're much more likely to get like the 7 for 72 in this game or 6 for 55. And even with the touchdown, is he worth it? Not entirely. So
are you too if Kincaid is
absolutely.
Absolutely love that. Preview to Friday, probably like him, his props, and I don't even know him yet. Okay, down lower under 4K. Who are you liking as kind of
Johnson and Strange, especially?
I didn't realize he scored a touchdown.
He's been very involved. Juwan Johnson continues and just missed the 10-point threshold, something that he gets almost every week.
What about Mike Gesicki? Yes, I need him for best ball, but I don't know why he only got
4 tight ends too much.
What's that?
They mix those tight ends too much. I mean, he got 2 red zone targets, but unfortunately both were incomplete. But he only got 4 total targets.
Just put our guy Gesicki out there. Come on.
I don't get it.
All right. So this was again our early look. We will see if we'll get back to his top players show on Saturdays. He does a top players. Even when he was sick, he did a top players article every week on Saturday mornings. So stay tuned for that. That's where kind of the player pool will land. Steve, why don't you bring over Underdog and we will talk through, how we're valuing the different, positional scarcity and all that and how to apply these player takes to Underdog. Let me catch up with chat for just a second. Mike says, for what very, very, very little it's worth, likely has played 3 home games against the Steelers and gotten a touchdown each one. The data never lies. Shout out to Mike and the data. So that is good. He's the one that got the yards and almost had the touchdown again. Here I was betting Mark Andrews. Okay, the funnel of tight ends against Bengals. I was betting Mark Andrews. It was really likely who almost had that touchdown and had a lot of yards against the Bengals. Johnson and Strange are the 2 that stand out to coolers as well. And then just Otten being bullish on that Tampa game environment. And let's listen to Coolers, folks. He's been crushing it in the Underdog streets. So Coolers, let us know in chat, where you're valuing here in the Underdog streets here for week 14. But we're ready to rip our first battle royale. Week 14, this is total first look battle royale. Go ahead and count it down whenever you're ready.
All right. Enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter.
All right. So just build. Here, don't think we got anybody in with us. We're at the 4 spot. So could you just kind of click? Yeah, thank you. So the top 6 quarterbacks are Allen, Jackson, Stafford, Burrow, Baker, Bo Nix. A lot of them going later. Top running backs, JT, Achane, Cook going in the first round, then Bijan, Jacobs, Henry going in the second and third. Then receiver, JSN, Jamar Chase, Puka, potentially first round, Devontae, Olave, and Buka. So do you think when talking through those receivers, it does feel like from the DFS perspective, applying to here, there could be some depth and potentially scroll down options at the receiver position. So that part's interesting. I probably would prioritize running backs first. Could you hit tight ends too, just to look at that?
McBride and then Bowers.
Yeah, McBride, Bowers, Warren, no surprise there. And then okay, so good draft is starting. So yeah, I would say here, Steve, I know I said prioritize running back, but I would say either James Cook or Jamar Chase, unless something like crazy, like a chain fell to us. What would you say?
I mean, here, like I like JSN more than Jamar Chase. So if JSN's there.
Really? I guess I love the game environment. I feel like it could be like a 30-27, game against Bills Bengals.
Because it's just Bills, I think, are a better defense than Atlanta.
Yeah. I still go Chase, but obviously the projections agree with you because he's projected for a lot more. But would you go Cook over JSN?
I would go Cook, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's a fair question.
I think it should go 3 running backs in a row to start.
Yeah. So we'll see what JTD does here. Okay. Makes it easy. We'll go James Cook. Then we'll be back up at 9. Obviously we talked through Devontae. Like if he was there, I'd certainly be interested in that. But we'll see what falls to us there.
And that's the other thing is like receiver is deeper and all that.
Yeah, no, that's why we talked about it in DFS, like the high price running backs, receiver is deeper. I absolutely think that applies then here, of course. So Devontae, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to go double anchor with like Jacobs or Henry, I wouldn't hate it, but
neither would I. And I think Bucky's a good pick also. Chase Brown, not that you generally want running backs. Breece Hall, I think those are fine clicks.
Mike just missed it by a second. We are very sorry, Mike. We will do another one. Then hopefully Spread and Tyler will be in. We'll do at least one more, and then we'll do 2 drafts until Spread and Tyler get here for sure. But at least one more, maybe hopefully you can get in the next one with us. Obviously, if you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube, say hi, hit that like button. Maybe you can jump in the next draft with us. These are our kind of first look week 14 drafts. And yeah, week 14 is the Dog Bowl in Kansas City, the 12-man drafts, rooting on Chad Candles and Go AZ Charles. But can't wait to see how that goes for the folks there. So, all right, coming back up at 16. If somehow one of these running backs fell, that would be the priority, I think.
Yeah, not so much Judkins, but the other two.
Yeah. Well,
it's a good matchup for Judkins, but boy, I hate the Browns offense.
Could you scroll down after Chase Brown? I just wanted to see if there's like a pull-up option. Okay. I missed it. Okay, so if Bucky's there, we're going to take Bucky, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
He's not there. I mean, Mbuka's fine.
Can you hit the running back tab? I just want to see if he goes, what might be some fallback options. Ugh. I don't love it. Can you scroll down a little bit? Shit, he goes. Damn it.
You could do Chase Brown, just have both those running backs in that game and assume it's run heavy.
Oh yeah, because the Bills. Let's do that because if it's he's involved in the passing game, so let's do that. Yeah. I like that. I just really don't like those scroll down options. So I like this a lot.
Like I said, running back does get thin fast.
Running back gets thin. Yeah, we're also always in this transferring from DFS to Underdog, looking where there's positional scarcity and where there's value. And I think there's way more value at wide receiver, and there's a lot of positional scarcity and gets thin at running back. So I like this. The 2 running backs from the same game. That's fun. Okay, so coming up at 21, can you hit the receiver tab? Yeah, I guess if Mbuka's there, right? Just prioritize that.
Yeah, and since we didn't get Bucky.
So let's wait and see. If not, what do you want to do?
I don't want to do T. Higgins. Oh, let's do Buka.
Okay, good. I hope to God T. Higgins is back. Can you show the full? So tight ends, could you go there? Because that might potentially be a stack too. I mean, even though we did James Cook, I wouldn't hate Kincaid. What do you like?
Probably waiting on tight end. I'm fine with Brenton Strange, but
hey there, Spread.
Hey guys,
how we doing?
Doing good, but Tyler and Jamie might be late. My DMs aren't working on my desktop?
Oh, really?
So I had to copy it on my phone and then email it to myself to pull it up on my computer itself. So
okay, Tyler just wrote, okay, see you guys tonight. So hopefully he'll be on soon.
All right, I'm going to email it to Jamie right now.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. But yeah.
Other than that, I'm doing great.
That's what we love to hear. So after this draft, maybe we'll do one more and talk through some stuff with you until they get here. Okay, so what quarterback do you want to prioritize here, Steve?
I think Baker.
So could you just click the quarterback tab? Yeah. No, it was a terrible game environment, a terrible game in the first New Orleans game, but
yeah.
I mean, obviously he hasn't put up good fantasy numbers of late, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, I just think with us having Mbuka, we're kind of betting on the passing offense. So
could you click tight end? Okay. So yeah, I would go Stranger Kincaid.
Let's do Kincaid, and then we can always replace him with an injury.
Yeah, let's do that. Even though we have James Cook, I don't always do that. But in this game, I really think what do you think, Spread, over under in the Buffalo-Cincinnati game? I know you guys will talk about this, of course, but what do you like?
Oh, I like over there. I mean, let's just attack two bad defenses. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I like the over as well. I like stacking up that game both in DFS and here on Underdog. So yeah, I like that. Getting Kincaid, we can always switch him out if he is out. All right, so read off our team one more time.
Baker, Cook, Chase Brown, Devontae Adams, Emeka Mbuka, Dalton Kincaid.
I love it. Well, we promised Mike Robb one more draft. Do you want to help us with another draft here, Tyler, or Spread, and then we can chat it up until the boys get here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Cooler says, pick tight end last, in my opinion. Securing stack, always more important unless you're back stacking QB and tight end. Agree with that. Yeah. Lawrence Strange could have also been another option for diversity. I agree with that as well. Coolers is sharp. Coolers has been crushing it this season in the Underdog Daily. So definitely, if you're watching, listen to Coolers. And then Mike Robb says there's no bigger weekly matchup than Fantasy versus Technology.
To be fair, that's not on us today, Mike Robb. That's on Elon. And I knew it because I checked on break today. I checked and they were complaining about that in my chat. That no one was able to access the DMs unless they were on mobile. And I go,
this is a 5-star comment, though. I mean, Mike Robb cracks me up every time we do a show, but that's absolutely hysterical because I'm the one that's the most guilty of it. Now, Mike Robb, you said you wanted to jump in the next draft with us. Steve's do a slow countdown for Mike Robb.
All right, I'm going to count down at 10. I recommend getting in around 7.
Okay.
All right, counting down, entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter.
Okay, Mike Robb, did you get in with us? That is the question.
There's 4 spots, waiting on 4.
Okay, unless he's in the first.
He's already jumped in the free flow.
Yeah, get in another one. Multi-table, Mike Robb. You can do it. Multi-table this thing. I'm guessing we'll hear I got in the pre-flow any minute now. So yeah, 4 more to go. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to fill, Spread, how are you going? How was your how are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving? Obviously, Thanksgiving slate was fun, but the obviously weekend slate was really as brutal as everybody thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened, right? When you put
Yeah.
5 marquee matchups on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, then what are we left with on Sunday? But just sweating out a Shedeur Sanders game against the Cleveland Browns or against the San Francisco 49ers, where he obviously disappointed here. Looking forward to a little more weekend football here, and between all the college, I was like, this is why NFL is so awesome, because after I watched 4 days in a row, I was just like, wow, Sunday Night Football. I was like, I'm sorry for the Commanders, but I was like, this game's kind of all right. Like,
it ended up
burned out on watching football. Yeah, it ended up being a good game, right? But
totally ended up being. I didn't see that coming, quite honestly. But this is what I said to Steve in talking about Merritt McLaurin this week. Yes, Jaden being out has hurt them. Yes, they have other injury. Yes, they're old. But Terry, this is why they should have paid the man from the jump. And I'm frustrated about that. But he is a big difference maker for this offense. He is still very good. He started the season slow, obviously, with all that contract negotiation crap, then has been injured, but he looked great. And he makes the offense more fun to watch. So that was definitely a surprise. Did you have a good Thanksgiving spread?
Yeah, it was wonderful. So
nice. Love to hear it. I don't know if you saw spread. We had a lotto that we posted in Substack that literally meant, and it was a lotto, right? So we pushed lines, but we got Christian Watson. We did one in each game. We got Christian Watson 80 yards on the nose. Okay, this is lining up. We knew Dak was going to have to throw a lot against the Chiefs. We get him over 300. Okay, all we need is Jamar Chase for 125. I know that's a lot, but that's what he averages against the Ravens. That's what he averages against the Ravens. I know we're starting in a minute. And he got still 14 targets or something, Steve?
Yep.
And he falls short at 110. So that was quite a sweat. I had a no sweat bet that I bet 25 to win 1,000. So I was super bummed on that one, but it was still a great Thanksgiving nonetheless.
We got a lot of people in here. We got Kicks, we got Mike, and we got FK, and then we got one of the best underdog names, Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Kicks, Mike, Rob, and Coolers all got in here. That's awesome. I love to see it. It made it. We got, and then Kicks has got the 101. Mike made it. Hulk Mashed Potatoes. Hey. Good to see you as well in here. And thanks for joining us over here in chat. We appreciate all of you watching, hitting that like button, and make sure you are subscribed. Again, this show keeps rolling. This has been a fun collab on Tuesdays because I get to see Spread and Tyler's wonderful faces. But then it's kind of nice to do like a combo show. I feel like it gets a little more eyeballs, and it's fun. And how can I forget Jamie, who's joining the chat? Though, let me pick this. What do we want to do here to Steve? JT. Yeah. Please, JT, have a big game, please. I need you. All right, we're, of course, Jamie and then Tyler will be joining. We'll say hello to all of them, and they will stay with Spread for the NFL betting card. So don't go anywhere. This collab keeps continuing. You get these guys. Then after we leave for the NFL betting card, week 14, talking sides, totals, everything. Jamie, how was your Thanksgiving? Obviously, Packers winning, I'm sure, made it a good one.
Sure did. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was something small, so just went over to my brother. So just a couple family members, but it was nice.
I like that. I like a low-key Thanksgiving way better than a big Thanksgiving. So I think that's excellent.
Absolutely. How was your guys' Thanksgiving?
Good. Same. Nice and like low-key, so we could just focus on the important things: food, family, football. Right?
Absolutely. I love it.
All right, we're up in one, Steve. I mean, I guess if Bijan falls, I know we took Devontae in the last one, right?
Bijan or Jacobs? Yeah,
a lot of running back scarcity here, so I like attacking running back. What do you think, Jamie? You like Jacobs against Chicago?
Yeah, Jacobs it's a Josh Jacobs week.
Okay, there we go. You heard it here first. Yeah. Josh Jacobs, we double anchored this thing with JT Jacobs. Let's see this thing home. We'll be up in 2. Obviously, if Devontae's there, I love that. We could go back to Mbuka if you wanted to, Steve. What do you think? Kicks is Kicks is watching. But
come on, Meg. What are you doing?
Rookie.
Yep. We could get spreads guy Brock Bowers. No. It's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I can't trust Geno.
Yeah, it's bad.
Painful. Okay, so kicks goes Devontae Adams, Bucky Irving. Like those
Yeah,
picks.
let's go back to Mbuka.
Let's go back to Mbuka. I like that. I like that a lot. Can you,
Meg, how stupid are we going to look when Gino goes to another team next year? It's absolutely fine. I would not be surprised to see that happen.
He's such a tough watch this year. It's rough.
I think it's a product of the organization and
really
coaching.
Yeah, and obviously Chip Kelly's already been fired. So yeah. Steve, what do you think? We gotta see. We're still like 5 picks away. Can you go to the board real quick? I just want to see what some of the other folks in chat are doing. So kicks went a chain, Devontae, Bucky. I like that. Mike went Jamar Chase, Henry Judkins. Very fun. Coolers is on the clock now. Goes James Cook, Josh Allen. So gets all those Bills points and then brings it back with Higgins. Please. I hope Higgins plays. I need him for best ball. So I love that cooler. So having fun with, 3 people here in chat with us on this draft. So I was going to say, Higgins too, Steve, if he came back. Wait, who's our one receiver? Oh, Mbuka, that's right. So what do you want to do here, Steve? Did McLaurin go?
No.
Can you click the thing? I like McLaurin, honestly. I like him better than Justin Jefferson with crap quarterback, injured Drake, whatever.
I'm good with that. We
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I think London will be back, but of course it's.
Yeah. So how do you want to stack this up? What tight end we could do? What Coolers talked about, who is in this draft, of course. You could do like a Strange Lawrence or something like that because we have JT. I like that. I know I'm giving away too much intel since we are drafting with people, but I kind of like that. I mean, I know it's crazy.
Can't trust Lamar. Lamar has just looked so bad. 3 straight games, not even breaking 10 fantasy points.
He's got to be playing through multiple injuries.
Yeah.
Back to the Jefferson deal. Wasn't that the hardest possible start? Isn't there a chance that Brosmer kind of looks a little better this week against the Commanders defense?
I mean, that was
JJ McCarthy.
JJ's out of concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So
they're bringing McCarthy back.
Yeah. So wait, Strange.
Dude, that's so messed up. Go get beat up by the Seahawks and then go back to the bench. Oh my gosh.
Steve, let's take you want to take Kincaid again in this one?
Sure.
I mean, we can do Baker again, but I really like Kincaid in that matchup. I mean, really the only stack we have available to us is Baker. But we could just, we could not stack.
We could do Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I don't think he'll be running much, but I mean, he'll provide some floor. And then I just think there's going to be no pushback either, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you guys do? Jamie, spread? What quarterback would you take? Would you stack Baker or would you just stack Jaden Daniels? Would you take, still
stack Baker over Daniels? I'm a little worried about his first game back. We talked about Lamar coming back early from injury. I'm worried that Daniels is doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of pointless now because Washington's donezo. So
I think he's just one of those guys with all that pride, right? And then, he can't. He's only human. He has to be hearing everyone going, "Oh, Drake May, right?" I mean, he's got to want to come back and be like, "No, I'm the best quarterback in this class."
He's also hearing RG3 part 2, RG3 part 2. His mom's defending him on Twitter for that. Okay, let's read all our teams and then we can just chat it up with the guys until
Did you see FK's comment?
Did Rudy get a plate or no table food? Actually, he did. When our dad was cutting up the turkey, and he got some turkey scraps as my dad was cutting up the turkey, for leftovers. So he didn't get a plate. He didn't get table food during Thanksgiving dinner, but he did make out by standing next to my dad when he was cutting the turkey. So smart dog, gotta like that. Mike Robb. So yeah, read all our, since we had 3 people in with us, Steve, you want to go to the board?
Yeah. All right. So kicks went Achan, Devontae Adams, Bucky Irving, Strange, London, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, it pulled off the Strange Lawrence. Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
We did JT, Jacobs, Mbuka, McLaurin, Kincaid, and Baker.
Like it.
The Money, also known as Mike Robb, did Chase, Henry, Judkins, Burrow, Adonai Mitchell, and Isaiah Likely.
Okay.
then-
Oh, he talked about Likely this week, of being a likely week.
Yeah.
I like it.
FK did James Cook, Josh Allen, T. Higgins, Tyler Warren, Jacoby Myers, and then his guy Kenneth Walker.
This guy, Kenneth Walker. I like it. And hey, a big old game stack of that Bills, Bills Bengals. I like that. That is fun. No, that was fun. We appreciate everybody, joining us. I'll remove that so we can just chat until Tyler gets here. We appreciate everybody joining us in chat, hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We covered best ball portfolio. We covered kind of recapping week 13, looking ahead to week 14, DFS, underdog drafts. Now we get to talk to these wonderful guys heading into, then they will talk for the next hour or so, NFL betting card week 14. What are their hot takes? What are the sides and totals they're looking at? Their favorite bets on the board early in the week here. Yeah, the Coolers had to stay on brand, had to pick Walker on stream for the brand. For the brand is perfect. All right, so I asked you both if you had a good Thanksgiving. You did. Jamie's team, of course, won on Thanksgiving. The Packers, of course. What else? Why don't you give us your any early hot takes or feelings of week 4 or from week 13 going into week 14? We kind of asked spread. I'll go to you first, Jamie.
Yeah, so I actually haven't had a hot take for a couple weeks, so I figured there's no better time to have a hot take than to get back on board with the Green Bay Packers. So everyone was writing them off the last several weeks. I think the Packers are the second best team in the NFL. I think they're only behind the Rams. And for me, it's pretty easy. I think they have a good head coach, got a good defense coordinator, you got an elite defense, and you have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over. So I like the idea about getting some Packers futures still for people that haven't. Because if they beat the Bears this week, those numbers are going to go up even more. I think it's pretty likely that the Packers will end with, at least 2 home playoff games. I think it's going to be tough for them to get the 1 seed over Rams or Seattle. But at this point, I feel like if they, beat the Bears and they win the division, they're probably going to get the 2 seed over Philadelphia. Kind of feels like Philadelphia is heading the opposite way. So
yeah, that's my hot take. That's my hot take. If they weren't playing Washington twice, so with Jaden and Terry back, maybe we play spoiler once. But I was going to say, if they weren't playing Washington twice, boy, I could make my hot take is look out. If you look at Dallas' schedule, what if Dallas wins the East and Philly is out this year? I placed a very small wager on you can bet to miss the playoffs, and I bet that they just look. And I said this before the Thanksgiving show, last week before the Black Friday game. That offense has looked broken for a while. This feels like an every other year thing where they have, amazing offensive coordinator, bad offensive coordinator, amazing offensive coordinator, bad offensive coordinator. Obviously, the 2 years that they had amazing offensive coordinator, they went to the Super Bowl, won last year. It's a bad offensive coordinator, and that team looks broken right now. And somehow that run defense just let Monangai and Swift run right through them. So, outside of the Washington games, they still have a tough schedule, though they may get lucky. Hopefully Herbert plays on Monday.
Yeah,
I believe it's Monday.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. So they may get lucky there, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that that happened 2 years ago where they were like, 10-2, and then they just,
lost to Tampa Bay in round 1. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Wild card.
Then Dallas got, they were obviously Dallas was a much better team from the jump that year, but they just totally fell off, limped into the playoffs. And that was Jason Kelsey's last game. I remember, they lost to Tampa Bay in the wild card. Yeah. So that's my hot take is Eagles are doing it's looking like 2 years ago, and you better go searching for another good offensive mind because it's every other year.
It's probably going to be Brian Daboll, unfortunately. I could see, and that's honestly going to be a perfect fit, to be honest, for them. So we better enjoy it now before next year. comes up and Brian Dayball's there, and they're going to look really good again. But I love the Dallas call. Like, I think they're a good team. Like, their offense, I think we all understand
The
that they're like
defense
a
looks
top
a lot
5
better,
offense,
too.
and the defense looks greatly improved. So
Yeah.
they kind of put themselves in a hole earlier in the year, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for that team to get hot. This Thursday is going to be an awesome
It's
game.
an awesome game with
It's
the
a
Lions.
massive game. Yeah.
Massive game for both teams.
Yep.
And then after that, the Cowboys have Vikings. I mean, that should be a win. Chargers will be a tough one. And then Washington, though, it'll be harder than it was, but, Washington on Christmas Day and Giants. So, I definitely think they have 3 very winnable games. And then if they can get one of those Chargers and Lions, it's interesting. It's interesting,
Yep.
So,
And Lions look more banged up coming into this game because, like, I doubt if Monroe plays. Arnold out. A couple other guys. At least one of their starting offensive linemen. I think 2 have been DNPs all week.
And that's the thing. Even if those linemen on the Detroit Lions play, they're not 100%. And I feel that you can see that. And for my hot take, let me come on here and do a mea culpa. I was completely wrong about Ben Johnson. Not only has he reinvigorated the Chicago Bears organization, but the subtraction from that Detroit Lions offense, and you see them just running kind of like the basic Madden offense, like, oh, we just switched the play. But, it's definitely not the same team. And it really goes to show for these CEO style coaches like Tomlin and Campbell, and we'll see it with Vrabel. Now, fortunately, I don't know if McDaniels was ever going to get poached due to
that is a big benefit to them. Yeah, he failed twice.
You got to have a good OC. And the thing is, if you have a good OC, he's going to become most likely, one of the most sought after people on the market, because you look at Ben Johnson and it's just like, well, nobody can leave. It's not like Dan Campbell where, oh, we lost Ben Johnson. He's the engine there. Really going to come around and join you guys. And just in the new NFL, the way the game is legislated, these offensive coordinators are almost as important as the head coach. I agree. 1A, 1B, and I'm really feeling the wrath out there when I think that we paid the highest amount for maybe one of the worst offensive coordinators there with the Raiders. So let's see who we get to hopefully develop Francisco Mendoza out there next year. But I'll take a mea culpa. Ben Johnson is the man. And when he ripped his shirt off, I'm just sold. I'm just sold.
Fred loved it.
Yeah, totally loved it. I loved it. It was so good. And just, I love his, whatever you said, that good, better, best. That's from like his high school team, Steve, or something.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, again, I always thought he's like an offensive genius, but I didn't know if he could do the leader of men CEO thing. And I think, he definitely looks like a big win for the Bears organization overall. I don't doubt Jamie's take that Packers can still win the division, but long-term for the Bears, it is a big, big win.
Yeah. My only comment there, is that a hot take at this point?
I mean,
it's just kind of stating the obvious, right? With Philadelphia downgrading like they are, who's there to jump in there?
2 weeks ago,
be like Dallas Cowboys are number 2, or 49ers are number 2, or even Seattle number 2.
2 weeks ago, you were calling the Packers a fraud. We have the clips.
No, I don't use that word.
Oh, okay, maybe not fraud.
I was calling for you to hold the floor to the same standards.
And I did. And I definitely did. I definitely did. But the people who wanted LaFleur fired, just come on. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. Like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Panthers are obviously a scrappy team here. I mean, they just beat the Rams, who everybody was already writing into the Super Bowl for the NFC. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, are we gonna talk about the Rams like we talked about the Packers?
I was going to say yes.
Dude,
I think so. Yeah, you don't know what version showing up.
Yeah, they're a good football team. Like, Bryce Young is not that great, obviously, but they're really well coached. They have pretty good offensive line, good running game. The defense is not bad. They have a solid run defense. Like,
they're very
even their secondary is not bad, and they were even banged up too. So like,
that's why I thought it was going to be a big Stafford game, because they were so banged up in the secondary.
Yeah, yep, 100%. They're a fun little team.
They are a fun team. Very much still alive, by the way, too, which is wild. But spread. Do you, as a West Coast guy, I go through this every year where in your handicapping, how much do you factor in the West East Coast? Because I now have multiple examples, this one being one, Rams play in Carolina, 1 p.m. West East Coast, 1 p.m. Chargers, when they lost to the Giants, at MetLife earlier in the season. How much do you handicap in the West East Coast 1 p.m.? Because I know some people totally blow it off. As someone who, I haven't traveled much in a while, but when I do travel and have done the West East Coast, I'm like, oh, I get it. That's rough to get on a different time zone and that kind of stuff. How much do you handicap that?
I think I use certain coaches.
Okay.
I look at what each coach has done. And to be fair, I think I probably fell short on that Chargers one because I think Harbaugh's done really well in his career. And I know that Shanahan has noticed that his team didn't do as well, and that's why they stay on the East Coast, right? So they'll play a game out there, and then if they have another game on the East Coast, they just stay in Virginia or something, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to go through that twice. So for the individual coaches, like, for example, going into this year, Pete Carroll had done excellent doing that, right?
Right.
And the Seahawks haven't had a problem with it this year. So it depends on certain coaches. And then I'll also flip it because I don't want everyone getting down on my West Coast teams. The other thing you do is you fade East Coast teams on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football when they come out west, because now they're starting at 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's
on
fair.
their body clock.
That's fair.
It goes both ways in my mind.
No, I had to ask you that because there's always examples where you're like, yep, West East.
It definitely fits in, and we've seen for years certain teams. I know. I mean, the Raiders are always bad, but that was like a bad thing for them. Certain good teams. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't remember all the trends off my head, but probably Chargers before Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's doing pretty well there. I'd be curious to see McVay relook that up.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Seattle was always like the outlier where they did okay, which is crazy because they have the farthest.
Absolutely, in the
Mariners, what they end up traveling compared to like the Chicago Cubs over the course of a year, with the extra time on baseball. I mean, it's just insane how far Seattle is if they have to fly to Miami or something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we got Hulk Mashed Potatoes in here. He says LaFleur was actually aggressive against the Lions. Certainly seems like that little fire under him. What do you think about that? Would you agree with that, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, that's spread can attest to that. That's what I've been saying for weeks about LaFleur. My only critique was I felt like he was much more conservative in it. It honestly seems like I can't remember who it was, maybe Benjamin Solik of ESPN. He's like does the analytics side there. He actually brought up some numbers a few weeks back, and it's actually kind of correlated to when the Packers are underdogs or playing more competitive teams, rather than they are like 7 to 8 point favorites. They actually, for some reason, get more conservative when they are large favorites compared to when they are underdogs or playing a team like Detroit, who I think he realized that Dan Campbell was going to go for it on fourth down. They were going to be aggressive. So you kind of got to beat him to it. And honestly, that was the deciding factor in the game. Like if you look at all the numbers in that game, it was almost identical other than the fourth down conversions. They went 0 for 2, I think it was 0 for 3, and Packers went 3 for 3. And that was the game. And I personally, I love that. And spread knows I love this. Sometimes I love it to a fault, but and I agree here too. This game is huge. Massive for Detroit. I mean, both teams that we just talked about, but massive for Detroit. Like if that team can't get in the playoffs after the last couple years, like it's just not a good look.
Yeah, remember a couple of years ago was the year I didn't make the best ball finals, and I was pouting because I had totally stacked up Detroit, Dallas, week 17, and it lived up. It did live up. Like the winning lineup had like Lamb, Amon-Ra, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so it totally lived up, and I was so pissed because that was like my big stand all year. But that's when I was playing to your point, Jamie. Jamie talked about it last week, how he appreciated our advice this year about contest selection because when you're in those 1 to 13, 1 to 16, 1 to 12 pods, they're hard. They're really, really hard. And so contest selection was a big thing for me the last couple of years, and hopefully that bears out to enjoy the finals this year. But that lived up. I hope this Thursday night lives up for multiple reasons, selfishly for best ball, but also just as a fan, So, yeah. Mike Robb, of course, giving Spread a hard time when Spread started watching football in 1932. Did they have the same travel issues?
Well, no, I have an answer for him, Mike Robb. In fact, we did not have teams on the West Coast then, so we didn't have these travel issues. In 1932, there was no teams west of the Rockies. Mike Robb, go ahead and learn some history. Al Davis and I watched these games together. and some great football there. I mean, that's I think a majority of where the Bears championships came from, right? Was before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, they're like the Boston Celtics of the pre-Super Bowl. So
that's
thank
hysterical.
you for the great question, Mike Rob.
That was a great question, Mike Rob. And Spread, you handled that. You nailed the answer.
Yeah.
Absolutely nailed the answer. Jeff, who won our free subscription to Degen Substack, will be in the Substack, have access to that after he DMs me. I'll get him set up by tomorrow. Then hopefully he can get in the Discord with us. Congratulations again, Jeff. He says, I'd love to see a fully healthy Tampa, Evans, Godwin, and Buka, McMillan, Johnson, Irving, Tucker for the last 3 or 4 games in the playoffs. That will be interesting. Can
you imagine the decisions we'll have to make, though, if that actually happened?
Yeah.
Because all the players would probably be priced up, when you're looking at the DFS slate, right? But then it's like, they can't all go off, right?
Yeah, and I won't.
What does Godwin need into Egbuka as he gets more comfortable? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Mike gives you the point on that Spread. But yeah, absolutely agree. I think Tampa will be very interesting to watch in the playoffs. Provided they do win the South, will be very interesting to watch in the playoffs, fully healthy. And I think it's. I was going to say something else about best ball. Well, we talked about if Evans comes back for the best ball playoffs, that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, just them fully healthy in the playoffs could be very interesting. So, I know what I was going to mention. Sorry. Best ball playoff drafts. I'm so superstitious. I cannot physically do any best ball playoff drafts until the best ball season ends. Once it ends, then I'll start to go. That's when the gauntlet and mitten and all that will be out. And I'll just go hard on the best ball playoffs those week or two. And I'm sure we'll have some best ball playoff content here on the FanSpeak Network as well. I can't do it because I'm way too superstitious. But that, speaking to Jeff's point, I mean, that would be interesting. Maybe you take like a low owned piece of the Bucks, and if they make it far, you get some leverage or something like that. Or, as we know, Evans could just have like a massive wild card week to push you through or something like that. So I think the Bucks will be one of the most interesting teams for best ball playoff competitions. Do you agree, Steve?
Oh, for sure. I mean, excuse me. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm bummed about, like Mike Rob said, if he comes back next week, just like feed him for 250 yards a week or whatever he needs. We do need those sweet week 14 payouts too. Great time to form a line at the casino. That's hysterical because you get the payouts to make the playoffs and then obviously paid out each week on Underdog. Jamie and Spread, let me ask you this, and then you guys can ask us anything before Steve and I jump off. What are you guys sweating most week 14 for your best ball shares? I'll go to you first, Jamie. Any particular players? Like for me, having McCaffrey off is tough. So I'm going to need some running backs to really fill in that spot essentially. And then, I had Scatterbo on most of those teams. So, I'm going to need some running backs to step up with McCaffrey being on a bye. What's kind of the biggest thing you're sweating to get the best advance rate you possibly can this week?
Well, so unfortunately, Rico Dowdle is one of my highest drafted players. And he's kind of trending the opposite way.
Mine.
Really? Oh, sorry. It's
I didn't want to take him. Tyler took him all the time against my will, and now he's carrying all these teams. And then we're we're gonna make it, and then he hasn't done anything like the last 3 weeks.
Well, and then he's on a bye this week too, which is unfortunate. But my second highest drafted player is Javonte Williams. So Thursday will be a big one. So I definitely need some Javonte.
Can it be passing touchdowns? Because I need a big Dak day.
Yes, and I have a bunch of Dak too. So I do have some teams with like Dak, him, and Pickens. I have so much Pickens too this offseason.
Me too, and Ferguson. Honestly, I have more good Pickens Ferg teams than I do Lamb teams. So I still do have some Lamb teams that have a chance to advance. So I need a big old Dallas. I hope that Detroit Dallas game is like 34-31 or something like that. Or no,
what's cool about that game?
35.
Yeah.
Normally the Thursday games suck, but the awesome thing about this week's game is they get the full week to prepare.
Yeah. Yes, I like that.
Where normally I don't know, usually the defense is ahead of the offenses on the short week. So it sucks when you have your best ball players or your fantasy players on the Thursday night, in my opinion, just because they trend to be more. I always want my guys in that main 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. slate for me on the West Coast. I just feel like that's when the most explosive stuff happens. I feel like prime time, the defenses are are just firing on all cylinders, whereas I think in the main slate, our team sucks. Let's just pack it in. Where are we going tonight? It just feels like it's easier to slide under the radar, especially with that defensive effort when you're on the main slate.
Coolers appreciates your fellow Javonte enthusiast. I hand up was one of the ones doing Javonte slander, so I'm taking the L on that. Spread thinks games suck with Scott Hansen. It seems I do love the good old Scott Hansen witching hour. I do love.
No, I think they're awesome. I think they're better for fantasy.
Oh my goodness!
I think it sucks when we go to commercial every 5 minutes after I watch Red Zone. Sunday Night Football starts, and I'm like, really go to commercial this much?
Yeah, right.
Forget it.
Okay, spread. So he took, Rico. Do you have a second one like he has Javonte?
Let's see. Who are we? Tyler's got all the teams on his computer.
Because they were doing DraftKings drafts, obviously, every Tuesday this summer. Did you do much in the Underdog or anything else? Or was it all DraftKings for you this year, Spread?
No, just because I moved out here, I was mainly doing the teams with Tyler, and I was just so busy getting this property up and running. I'm really looking forward to next summer when I can do a little more than I was able to do this summer.
Okay. Any quarterbacks you need a lot this week? Like who did you and Tyler draft a ton of quarterback-wise?
Jordan Love.
Okay,
I was gonna say he is my highest drafted quarterback too. So I do need some Jordan Love. Matthew Golden's also like one of my highest drafted wide receivers. So if he could touch the field, maybe I could. Maybe
I know. Isn't he so disappointing? At first I was why is Golden going ahead of Jaden Reed? And then halfway through the summer, I'm like, Golden.
Yeah.
And now, did you have any idea as a Packers fan that Watson was going to come back this early? Because I was like, he will be lucky to be back by Thanksgiving, let alone like ramped up and playing like he is. I had no clue. Nobody did in the best ball space. Nobody was drafting Watson.
So it was way late, honestly. Like it was, I want to say late August, early September is when like I was kind of reading that he was just way ahead of schedule. Everyone's like, this guy's a freak. He's already kind of doing sprints and things like that. It was at that point, I don't think I have a single Watson share. I think maybe I've one share out of like maybe 60 teams.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that team is even alive. So it doesn't matter. But so it wasn't like when I kind of realized that maybe he would be able to come back. And to be honest, I was thinking like I was pretty high on Golden and also high on Reed that I was like, okay, even if he comes back, Green Bay is just like, it's so crowded. Is he going to be able to pop? But like, he so clearly looks like the best receiver on this team right now too. So it would have been nice to get some of that.
Yeah, Hulk said he got on the golden bandwagon in August. All right, any questions you guys have for us? And then we'll let you guys get started. And then Tyler can obviously join you whenever. And I'll tweet that you guys are starting NFL betting card part of this doubleheader show. Any questions for us before we head out of here?
Well, Steve, I have thoughts on.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
No, you go ahead,
Steve. Everyone in the football world's talking about it. Your thoughts on Lane Kiffin?
I mean, it's such a tough situation because, the college football playoffs. And let me say this, I don't want that to totally impact how it should be, because I think college should do it like the NFL. You can't talk to another coach that's still employed until after the season. Like it just doesn't make any sense. I get there's some differences and reasons why. But it's tough because I just think, yes, LSU is a bigger program. Even though he's dominated, he's done extremely well at Ole Miss. It's just tough, especially in the SEC, to get over that hump, to be playing for an SEC title game. And that's going to be, if he can recruit the same way at LSU and do what he can do at LSU, they're just going to give him more money, resources, get a better level of recruits. He can play for a SEC title game. So I get it from that perspective. I actually kind of believe him didn't come down to money. He's going to be the highest paid coach.
No, it comes down to the chance to win the national championship, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the recruiting is so much easier at LSU than it is in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hate it that he's leaving now as it is, when his team actually has a chance to make a run for it this year. But it is what it is.
And that running back that I love is going to go with him. I mean, it's not official, but
I'm sure.
Oh, what a surprise. He just jumped in the transfer portal yesterday,
Yeah.
Jamie, what were you going to ask?
So it's well, I'm going to stay in the college football streets here for you guys. What is everyone going to think when my Notre Dame Fighting Irish gets in over Miami after losing head to head to Miami? How are you guys going to feel about that? I'm curious.
I think Notre Dame should be there. Miami,
Yeah.
Miami they shot themselves in the foot.
How many losses do each team? I'm a casual football, college football. I like College Game Day the most with Pat McAfee's.
Yeah. They both have 2.
Okay, they both have 2. They both have 2.
And Notre Dame lost to Miami head to head in week 1.
I was gonna say, wasn't that week 1 though? Yeah, I think
exactly. It was week 1. I think everyone kind of wants the college football playoff system to be fair, and I just don't think the committee cares about fair. And I think they showed that in 2023 when Florida State went undefeated, won their conference championship, and they lost their quarterback, and they're like, No, you're not getting in. Like we just don't think right now today.
And I remember being mad about that. And then Florida State lost their bowl game like
63-3,
right?
Yeah, 63-3 to Georgia.
Yeah.
And so I think that just validated it for the committee. Exactly.
Right.
Well, and that's the tough thing because, like, look, Alabama, obviously, different story, but they lost week 1 to Florida State. Florida State ended up being one of the worst teams. They were nowhere near the ACC top. ACC was one of the weakest conferences this year. So it's like, and that's the tough thing. It sounds so crazy, but those early week 1 essentially matchups, week 1, week 2. The college committee definitely doesn't judge them the same because and look at it from the perspective like
preseason games.
Yeah,
exactly.
They don't get preseason. It's their first real games again. Yeah. I mean, look at our week 1. The Raiders beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
Right? So we're like, Raiders should be in the playoffs. They beat the Patriots in week 1. They made the playoffs.
That's a great example, Spread. Unfortunately, you're on the wrong side of that, showing.
But it's also like another one is you look at when Oregon Penn State met in Penn State, Oregon wins in overtime. Penn State ends up being one of the worst teams in the Big. But you're not going to ding Oregon too much because at that time that was a great matchup and that was a great win.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I obviously love the expanded playoffs better, but it's so difficult with so many teams and
100%. People want it to be like binary, right? Like it's like yes or no, you're in or you're out, and it's just there's a lot of subjectivity, and they're going to utilize context. And I think the biggest thing that goes in Notre Dame's favor is that they had a freshman quarterback in CJ Carr making his first ever college snap in week 1, and they're just going to realize that this Notre Dame team today is a much better Notre Dame team than it was in week 1. And
it also, I think, is just better. North Texas Tulane winner. I mean, how do they sneak in?
Yeah, that's.
I get having the non-Power 5 school, in the mix, but
it does suck too because obviously, are they a better team than Texas?
Like Miami
or Miami? Come on,
a neutral. What is it? Miami -7. I mean,
but that is a tough thing because you could make the case that you could have 8 SEC teams, like 9 SEC teams, and almost
every. Got to make it 32 and not give so much time off.
There we go. Let's do that.
Mean, that's half the reason that Kiffin had to leave too. I mean, I'm going to get into college basketball this year, and they're talking in college. Could this ever happen? And it's like, no. Like, no one's going to leave, at the end of conference championship week and leave. Oh, March Madness starts a week later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In this space, right, we're finishing up now, and then when does the playoff game start? I mean, not for a month.
Late December, the 20th or something like that. Couple weeks.
So you're missing out on these 3 to 4 weeks of quality recruiting. And that's the difference. Whereas
that's
why I'm like, go ahead and expand it. Maybe it'll stop these coaches from jumping around.
That's
I mean, if Ole Miss had a game next week, would there be as much recruiting? It's just this December is built so much into recruiting.
Yeah.
And we can't get away from New Year's Day and stuff. So
right. No, that makes sense. When does NFL start? This is the week where it's like Army Navy, and it's next week. Then there's Saturday NFL. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think two weeks, right?
Yeah.
From now.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
not
Always,
this week.
always enjoy the Saturday NFL too, and the
Oh,
Sunday
dude,
when
yes.
college.
More, yeah,
Yeah,
more
just very-
NFL on
yeah.
more days. Like
Yeah.
make it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and like
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
we'll take
It's
Tuesday.
Jamie's
Wednesday
out
off
here
pretty
just
good.
ruining high schools.
100%.
Friday Night Lights. Jamie
Yes.
wants us all tuning in to Bears versus Packers on Friday night.
100%.
Yeah, that's the Friday Night Lights I want to see.
He wants us those 50,000 stadiums in Texas being empty. Unbelievable, Jamie.
Yes,
Oh my
100%.
gosh. All right. Well, Steve and I are going to head out. You guys can get started. Tyler can jump in with you. So NFL betting card starts now. I will tweet that you guys are now switching over to the NFL's betting card gear. We appreciate both of you. I've already told people, but you feel free to mention again. Link is in the description for the Substack. It's on sale through tonight for just $27.99 a year. So link in the description. Be sure to check that out. But you guys have fun. Good luck in week 14. Good luck in the last playoff push for best ball. We'll reconvene next Tuesday and see where we're at.
See you guys.
All right. See you
Sounds
guys.
good. See you next week.
All right. Bye.
All right, Jamie, I think we got our hot take. I mean, do we want to do hot takes or we want to just dive right in? We've already been talking football for close to an hour.
I mean, honestly, my hot take was just talking about Green Bay. So, and we'll touch on them.
And like I said, I don't really think that's even that hot a take.
I mean, I just think from what we kind of talked about a week ago, I feel like it may have changed for people's eyes, but 2 weeks ago,
no, I agree because I think the win over Detroit really showed, that, hey, I mean, it was Green Bay is, as good as we thought they were. But, I think we have to downgrade Detroit a little bit off that loss just because, when I talked about it earlier, it's like, well, it wasn't Lambeau. Let's see how they look at home. This has been a team that's traditionally blown the doors off of teams at home and been all right on the road, right? I mean, if you sort home road stats and you do it like I do my NBA model, I don't do that for NFL. Maybe I should just for dome teams. But their home stats were always so much better. So for them to lose at home, I think you really got to kind of downgrade them. So, all right, let's dive right in. What's your first best bet here for week? What are we on? Week 14 already?
Week 14, man. First off, I'm surprised your hot take. I thought your hot take was going to come in just hating on EPA per play. Like I was so convinced.
Oh, I can. I can if you want to.
You don't have to. I mean, I have a pretty good rebuttal, but you don't need to. I literally thought that was going to be after I saw your message last night on Twitter. I was like, oh, he's going to come in. His hot take is going to be about how bad of a statistic it is.
No, you know what's so funny? I just like needling you about that. I use EPA on my predictive model.
Of course, you got to.
Here's my thing. If you really want to argue about EPA, here's what I think. You, as a Packers fan, use EPA as this giant force field to deflect criticism from Jordan Love, right? Like, I just didn't see him throw on 4th and 8, the worst duck, to Carolina Panthers guy, right?
But I mean, that's quantified. That's quantified in EPA per play.
I don't think
it's not like that. It literally is. EPA per play is expected points added on every single play, right? Not if it wasn't, then Matthew Stafford would be number 1 in EPA per play because we'd just be looking at just his touchdowns and interceptions. But like Matthew Stafford, and I'm referencing Matthew Stafford because that's what we talked about yesterday. He is 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, right? That's 34 plays out of 448, right? There's a lot more plays that needs to be quantified as well. So it's quantified on every single play. And I also think people get confused of EPA per dropback and EPA per play. So if you look at EPA per dropback, Matthew Stafford is actually, I think, 3rd. I think he was 2nd last week. He dropped to 3rd, well ahead of Brock Purdy, which I know that's what we talked about earlier. We already did, Tyler.
We're not done. This is the daily show.
We're not done.
If I ever go to Green Bay, I'm getting jacked up.
Yes, 100%. But also, like when it comes to Matthew Stafford, he also gets punished from his negative rushing, right? Because you do have to quantify his rushing. So look how many times this year it's been a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and he's tried to QB sneak and he has lost yards, or his lack of scrambling ability, or how many times he has fumbled the football, regardless if the offense falls on it or not. that is going to be quantified in EPA per play, right? Whereas like, so him, doing a 3rd and 1 sneak, losing a yard, like those have to be quantified as well, right? Which is why you kind of look at his EPA per play compared to a guy like Brock Purdy's, and they are similar. But if you look at EPA per dropback, he's well above Brock Purdy. He's actually, like I said, 3rd in the NFL. So EPA per play is just going to be looking at every single play, regardless of if it's a pass, it's a throwaway, if it's
my point is this: I don't think it can properly quantify how important some of those big throws are, and to just use EPA as this shield for the criticism of, hey, we've seen Jordan Love multiple times get flustered and make throws that we would consider to be bad decisions with the game on the line. And for me to use that and say, hey, this is why I'm worried about them if I'm betting on them for the playoffs.
That's just not true. If we're talking about that, then why don't that ever get brought up about Josh Allen? Josh Allen, like last year, was the biggest outlier I've ever seen. The guy throws like 16 interceptions a year outside of last year. Like he objectively has worse throws than Jordan Love has. Jordan Love hasn't had more than 11 interceptions in his career, and he has 3 on the year. Doesn't
the
Josh
reason
Allen
we don't bring it up with
already?
Josh Allen is he has worse weapons, worse coaching, a worse defense. He's carrying that team on his back. And if you were to say, like for example, if you threw Josh Allen on the Packers, they'd be minus 300 to win the Super Bowl. It would be a no-brainer. Like
First
nobody.
Off, he had Brian Daboll, and he still threw like 16 or 17 interceptions, right? So he had what we would consider a very good play caller. We all talked about the beginning of the year and also the end of last year about how good Joe Brady was, right? And like, again, he has worse weapons. Are we 100% sure? Like Christian Watson has played 4 or 5 games. Matthew Golden has missed 4 or 5 games.
Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman was a first-round draft pick, was he not? Dalton Kincaid was a
good
top
There's
10
plenty
overall
of first-round draft picks.
2 years ago.
Mike White was a first-round draft pick. They went to the Bears, right? I mean, just because you're a first-round draft pick doesn't mean you're good.
Right, but what metrics are you utilizing to show that Jordan Love has objectively better pass catchers? Because I can give you metrics from last year.
I've watched a bunch of games where the game's on the line and he makes some crazy throw with the game on the line that's an interception.
He has a lower turnover-worthy throw rate than Matthew Stafford.
That's for using every single play. But I'm telling you, I'm worried about him with the game on the line. For example,
do you want to go look up clutch metrics? Go look up clutch metrics in the fourth quarter. Because that's what you're saying late in games. Go look up clutch metrics in the fourth quarter. Because if you actually go back the last like 15 years, he's top 3 in like almost every single metric when it comes to clutch plays in the fourth quarter. I've watched every snap. You can say that every time you watch him.
How many of those clutch metrics are because Matt LaFleur coaches down to his competition, so now they're going life or death with terrible defenses, so he's able to make those clutch stats look awesome against the Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders and the bad teams because they're in games they shouldn't be in because they can't cover a spread that's more than 7 points.
So I'm confused. Are we talking
I'm just saying, okay, for example, in 2018, James Harden, by the metrics, had better stats than Steph Curry. But nobody who watched basketball thought that James Harden was better than Steph Curry. So I'm just saying there is things that statistics can't measure, and we know who can get it done with the game and the season on the line. And I'm not saying Jordan Love can't do that.
Can Josh Allen?
We haven't seen
how many Super Bowls has Josh Allen been to?
But
how many Super Bowls has Lamar Jackson been to?
Most of the times, okay, we're not talking about Lamar because Lamar kind of fits into the Jordan Love category where he can't do it on the line
Lamar
either.
As your number,
but Josh Allen's losing because the Chiefs score in like 7 seconds or something, right? I mean, he drove the team down the field. He did what he was supposed to do. They scored.
The guy averages like 15 interceptions a year, man. Like how many years did Josh Allen?
Because he's carrying a terrible team on his back.
You make so many excuses. You when I say like he has this many interceptions, it's not because of Josh Allen. It's because of X, Y, and Z.
Because first of all, interceptions aren't like this be-all, end-all, like worst thing that you can do. I'd rather have an aggressive quarterback. Like I personally like Brett Favre more than Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather have an aggressive quarterback.
I would much rather have Aaron Rodgers. That's not even a debate. But you can like Brett Favre. He was fun to watch. I get it. But still, you
I
can't
think
also in
better.
the same thing say interceptions are not all the be all. But then you're saying you just said 5 minutes prior that
With the game on
you
the
watched-
line.
But can you point to
I
me?
worry.
I've watched every game. Point to me what game. I can think of one
The
game.
Carolina Panthers game.
He didn't throw an interception in there. What are you talking about? He drove
That
down. They
Dusty
lost
threw on 4th and 8. It
They
wasn't an
literally-
interception, but it was right to a Panthers guy, and it fell down. It was a terrible decision with the game on the line.
So you're cherry picking one game. Okay, let's talk about Matt Stafford throwing 2 interceptions and fumbling the ball against that same Carolina Panthers team. Why aren't we talking about that? That's not an issue.
Well, I'm just saying.
No,
EPA
well,
is
it's
flawed.
just you. No, I call this is what we call anchoring bias. Is where 2023.
No, how can I have anchoring bias? Jordan Love is the most drafted quarterback I have in best ball. I actually think he's good. I just don't think you should use EPA as this force field to where now all of a sudden he's immune from criticism when he has made plenty of mistakes with the game on the line.
First off, every single person has made mistakes with the game on the line. Literally, that's like that. Go back to the test. I mean,
No,
first
you're
off, you
right
say
there,
Brett
but
Favre. How many times Brett Favre? You know, his last pass in Green Bay was a pick 6 in the NFC Championship game where he threw the ball crossbody against the New York Giants. I remember that was 2007. I remember watching that to lose the game. You know, Aaron Rodgers' last pass in Green Bay was a must-win game against the Detroit Lions in the last week of the season where he threw an interception to lose the game. Are those guys not good? So you just like to cherry pick.
No, I'm
because,
not
again,
saying he's not good. I'm
Then
just
what are you
saying Josh Allen is better, even though his EPA is lower. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I think we have a historical data where Josh Allen does have a better EPA throughout his whole career. You always get this confused with EPA. Like EPA is just like EPA when we look at the EPA for this year, it's just looking at who is playing better in this season. If you go and look at historical data of EPA, remember we did this. Patrick Mahomes was number 1. Tom Brady was number 2. Josh Allen was above Jordan Love.
Top 5, and that's when I knew.
Well, yeah, of course.
I don't know about this stat.
Patrick Mahomes being number 1 and Tom Brady being like 2 or 3 and Drew Brees being up there, Josh Allen being up there. I would say that it
Brock
is.
Purdy's like that meme with all the soldiers, and then there's the one clown.
And that is very possible, but he has played well for majority of his career. Just last year, you are like the biggest Brock Purdy stan there was.
No, well, because I didn't think he was getting the credit, but now I'm watching Mac Jones do the same exact thing in his offense, and I'm going, I think Mac Jones might be better than Brock Purdy.
And there's no doubt that scheme is going to be involved in this. Like the EPA can't just separate what's scheme or what is pure skill set, and that just kind of comes to subjectivity, to be honest with you. But
all right, we're done arguing EPA. What's your first bet for the week?
Well, give me Jordan Love to win MVP. No, I'm just kidding. But I am going to go with I'm going to go with the Packers Bears under 44.5. I think that this is going to be likely a pretty run heavy game. I think both teams are going to probably lean on the run a little bit more. The Packers rank first defensively, and
hey, break this down. I'm going to be right back. My screen screwed up. I got to refresh.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm just letting you know I'm coming back.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, so the Packers rank first in explosive plays allowed defensively from the pass and rush. And the Bears are just a team that very clearly wants to establish the run. So they're going to lean on the run until they can't. And I think the Packers are going to be able to lean on the run because the Bears rush defense is actually bottom 5 in the league. And I do think the Packers, although for a majority of the year have not been able to run the ball very well, the last 3 weeks, they've actually been able to run the ball at a pretty high efficiency. So Josh Jacobs is coming off of his best game of the year. First game, he's actually had a run of 20-plus yards all season long, average over 4.5 yards per carry. I think this is going to be a game they're going to lean on the run. And if I were forced to pick a side, it sucks because I've said all season about how I do not like to back Green Bay as a touchdown favorites. But this does kind of match up as a pretty good spot for Green Bay in their offense. And I think if they get an early lead, I think it's going to be able to force the Bears to have to abandon that run and then try to play catch up with Caleb. And that's just when you're able to use guys like Micah Parsons in this pass rush for Green Bay and be able to get home So I would lean with Green Bay -6.5, but it's not my bet. I would prefer to take the under 44.5. I just think it's going to be a slower pace game in general. And I'm just not super convinced that there's going to be a ton of explosives in this game, particularly on the Bears side. So I like the under 44.5.
Cool, because that correlates with my first pick, the Chicago Bears plus 6.5. I'm all in on Ben Johnson. I'm a complete convert. Give me the 180. I love that they run the ball. They run the ball, and I can't wait. And I'm sure you'd be pissed because you'd be like, why isn't he let Jordan Love cook if he's the coach of the Packers? But no, he understands how to protect a young quarterback through conservative play calling. He's fixed up the line. And what have we said all year, Jamie? We don't bet the Packers when they're laying more than 3 or 4, right? They're not very good against these larger spreads. I think the Bears keep this game close. I think it correlates to your under. I'll be honest, I'm not going to take the money line, although I'll be rooting for it. But give me the Bears plus 6.5 for my first best bet. I thought for sure we were going head to head. I almost feel like you kind of made some arguments for me there to cover.
No. My argument would be the Bears under more than anything. I think more like this game's like 27-17, ends at 44, and you barely get the 44.5 on the under. To be honest, it's hard for me to see paths of. I can see paths where the Packers blow out the Bears. I can't see paths where the Bears.
I would agree with that too. But when you have a rush-based offense, you're always in those close games.
And I do agree.
But one thing I would say is,
go ahead.
If I want to neutralize Micah Parsons, right, I want to run the ball. I mean, this is the one spot where it's like almost like for a game, you might rather have Kenny Clark if you see what they want to do, just because they're going to need to run the ball. I mean, you're absolutely right. If Caleb's sitting back there in a bunch of 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 8s, and they're down by 10, down by 14, it's not going to go good for the Bears. I almost feel like the first half is correlated because you're right. I don't think the Bears will play well from behind here, but I do think they'll get out to a good start. I love the way this team's rushing the ball, and I feel like they have that irrational belief where they don't even understand how, that they're not as good as they think they are. Tyler, break the tie. Bears, Packers, where are you at?
You just got to give me a minute.
Let give Kyler a second. Let me just up to your counter, because you said they want to run the ball, which I definitely agree. They definitely do. And I will give the Bears credit. They have actually turned into one of the best run offenses in the entire NFL. But do you know how you stop a team from being able to run the ball? Is you get a lead. Exactly. And so if the Packers are able to get a lead, and that's what we've seen, the Packers are at their ceiling when they're able to get up to a 10-0, 14-0 start. And I just think the biggest mismatch in this game is the Packers offense versus the Bears defense. I mean, particularly we can say what we want about Jordan Love, but if you go look up completion percentage over expectation, his 18 touchdowns to 1 interception when he's pressured.
I messed with you about Jordan Love, but I will give you guys 3 first-round picks for him right now. I mean,
no, I get it.
He's a very good player.
But the thing about Jordan Love, and I will say this, is his weak spot is when he is pressured. He is not a very good quarterback when he is under pressure. But conversely to that, he's actually statistically like the best quarterback in the NFL when he is not pressured. The Bears ranked 23rd on the season in pressure rate. Over the last 4 weeks, they ranked dead last. So I think that this team, if they're not able to get pressure on Jordan Love, they also play man coverage at like a top 4 rate, which I know I said last week as well. That is descriptive, not predictive, but I do feel confident that the Bears are likely still going to play mostly man coverage. I think the Packers have the ability to get out to an early lead. That is not to say that they will by any means, but I do think if they get up to like a 14-0 lead, I think the game could get carried away really quick, because then that's where you're going to force Caleb Williams to drop back. And if Caleb Williams is dropping back, that's where Micah Parsons, who's playing the best ball of his career right now, is just going to start to tee off on him. But I definitely agree with you. And my lack of confidence of the Packers' ability to get off to a hot start is what is making me just lean with the under 44.5 rather than just taking the Packers at -6.5. But again, I think that the Bears, I'm surprised you're on the Bears, because isn't your model like heavily based on like point differential and things like that? So like didn't it have to come out like
this
Packers
is a heart,
like
this is a heart pick, Jamie. This is a heart pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, no.
Do you know how many viewers we would lose right now if I picked the Packers with you? Right. I mean, that would be like if like Tom just saw Jerry and was like, "Merry Christmas," and gave him a present. Like, that's not how this works, right? We're supposed
No,
to.
I get, and you know what? I know my boy Tyler, and I know he's about to be on
Let's
Green
give him
Bay
one more
with me.
minute. I have one more question for you about this game, and then we'll throw it to Tyler. So let's just say I'm on the Bears. It was at 7 earlier. It hit 6.5, but we do know that early week bettors tend to favor the underdogs, and public money will usually push it back on favorites. Do you think I should wait? Because I'm thinking I can get a 7 if I wait. Do you think there'll be some Packers sentiment at some point?
Probably. You might be able to get a 7, but I'm pretty positive I saw it at like a 5.5 a day or two ago. Like maybe Sunday evening. I feel like I looked. Yes.
I'll
look at the opener right now. I saw it somewhere there.
It opened at
it did open at 6.5.
7. Oh, did it? Okay.
I saw 6.5 on the open, but then I felt like I did go see a 5.5 somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it.
No, you're right. The opener was 6.5. It's just when they open at 7, though, it's easier for them to push it back. Do you see what I'm saying? When they've already taken money on a number, whereas now it's a virgin number. I don't know. Gosh, I might just have to bet it now. All right, Tyler, break the tie here. Do you want Green Bay minus 6.5 or Ben Johnson not wearing a shirt, firing up the city of Chicago, more excited than they've been since the Bulls in 1996? Tyler, who's your pick?
Look at the bottom right-hand corner of your computer screen right now, spread. That should be where your calendar's at. What's that month say?
December.
What month is Matt LaFleur the best in?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Give me the Packers. Jamie knew.
I knew my boy. I was like, I know when Tyler's on him. Take it away. Take it away.
I mean, I
knew this was going to happen too, because if you combine your guys' ages, that's how old I am. So you guys have to team up against me.
No, but I think it's a spot. I mean, the Packers always play good in December. Like, I can see if I can get this record.
They definitely do, and I will also say this is like
you're right.
This is not data at all, but like the Jordan Love Toyota-thon thing that happens like late November on, and he has like in the last 3 years has like 33 touchdowns and 1 interception late in the season. Which again, it's like it's a funny little gimmick of Toyothon, who's now sponsored by, which is cool. But like, it's like that. I know that doesn't actually like that. You can't quantify Toyothon and Jordan Love, but it is funny. So he is absolutely right. This is where the Packers
spread. You want to hear their record?
Playing well
since he's took over in December. They played 20 games.
No. Yeah. What is it, like 19-1?
18-2. With a 16-game winning streak.
To be fair, I didn't say take the money line. I'm just saying cover the 6.5 here. I'm taking the points. It's a division game.
No, I mean, I see what you're saying. It just smells like that spot where it's like, I think Dallas might be the team that's getting hot in the NFL right now, and they might be the big bad team coming into the playoffs where it's like, oh shit, don't want to play them. Green Bay kind of is lining up to be there too. Like this December run could put them in there. They for some odd reasons, I thought my Jordan Love MVP odds or tickets were dead. Somehow he's third.
Yeah, it's back. I saw that too, and I was like, "Oh, we're back, dude. We are." I mean, it's still dead because Drake May and Stafford one of them are gonna win it. But like,
you would think, but like,
we're still alive.
What if the Patriots slowed down? What if Stafford loses a couple more and Green Bay wins out? Now you have the storyline there.
Yep.
But I mean, I didn't give a best bet yet, and I'd rather just give this one. It's an award. I think you can only bet this on FanDuel too, because I'm going to have you price shop this on your book spread. I highly doubt you're going to get anywhere near the odds this is. Christian McCaffrey to win Offensive Player of the Year is 40-1 on FanDuel. You shop at around books, it's like 14, 12, 15.
See what it is offshore.
You get nowhere near 40-1. JSN looks like he's going to slow down because Sam Darnold's starting to slow down. That kind of pairs together.
McCaffrey's 14-1 offshore.
Yeah, see, like that, this 40-1 is priced wrong. And the JSN slowing down with Sam Darnold getting pressured more. JT's offense is really slowed down because they're not playing cans anymore. And Daniel Jones has no respect in the pass game with a broken leg. That leaves CMC, who's going to be top 10 in rushing yards, who's going to be top 10 in receiving yards, who's going to break all these receiving records for a running back in 1 year, and he's healthy. That 40-1 is wrong. It might not win, but you want that in your pocket, I'm telling you.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And they're going to, and the 49ers, man, they're going to utilize him.
And what
right?
happens
Like,
if they win
They
out?
need to get in.
Yeah, they could win out.
100%. Yeah.
They could still win their division.
Can't believe they
still
keep
have a pathway
winning,
to the
dude.
1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Kyle Shanahan's a good coach, you know? He
That
just is.
defense, I mean.
The defense is rough, but Robert Saleh is a good defense coordinator.
No,
man.
I was going
Like,
to say Saleh to me is like the new Vic Fangio. Like I always thought Fangio's the best DC. I mean, like Saleh's like right up there with me. What he's doing this year.
Yeah.
And you look at how the Jets fell off after he left. You know, same pieces. Olbrook couldn't make him good, and Glenn couldn't make him look good. So
Yep.
Saleh was obviously doing something right. All right, what's your next best bet, Jamie?
let's see. My next best bet would be the Titans +3. Is it still +3? Plus 4.5. It's +4.5 over at.
Wait. I think my computer's wrong. Did you say Titans?
I said the Titans. Yeah, the
So
team that
I'm gonna call an executive timeout here, and we're gonna hit the rewind button to the one game when you bet on the Titans. And
I know.
We came back the next week, and I said, "What are we not going to do?" He said, "I am never doing that again."
I know.
Here we are.
I know. But the one caveat here is we get Shador Sanders on the other side. All right. And I do think Cam Ward has actually looked okay over the last few weeks. I just think they're I just think they're better than the Browns, to be honest. And again, I reference it quite a bit, and here is the Dogs coming off of like 20-point losses in favor, and coming back the next week, they hit like over 60% with like a 17% ROI. The Titans also fit that. My worry though is for sure Myles Garrett in this defense, which is just by far the best unit on both sides, which is always scary.
At
But like
home
I said,
too, where they're
And
so much better.
Judkins is going to run right through this defense.
Tony Pollard though, dude. So
Yeah, the first ever starter to play all them games and not get the 50 yards. Yeah,
he's
that guy.
due. He's due, baby. I don't know. It's a gross one, and I'll be honest, it is absolutely a gross one. But I do lean with the Titans, and I know Tyler's right. I've said on here even too like 4 or 5 times, like I'm done betting on the Titans. They always pop off on my sheet early on in the season, and every week I come in here like, why did I bet on this dog shit team, man? And this is like the same thing again. But they're playing Shador Sanders on the other side. I don't think Shador played like bad last week by any means. I just don't think that he's a very good quarterback. And I think Cam Ward is starting to look a little bit better. So I'm going to lean with the Titans. You can get them at +4.5. It's a little more juiced on DraftKings, but I still like that, or the +3.5.
I
Can't
can't
join you there.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And you know what?
I looked
You
this
saw the
spread and I
strength
could
of
see
the
I
Cleveland
could see the
defense.
facial
It's-
expression.
It's going to
Yeah.
be like when they played the Raiders. The Cleveland defense is going to be so much better than every single unit on the field. And Cam Ward is probably better than Sanders, but I just think Sanders is going to look
Probably.
better in this game because of going against that weak
Cam
Titans
Ward
defense.
hasn't been like a stud. Like
No,
hasn't
he
looked
definitely
well,
has it, but I think he's been playing better late in the season. He also is like in the worst possible
worst.
scenario all
Yes.
season long with like the
Except
worst
for
head coach.
Brosmer. That was the worst scenario.
Okay,
Maybe
yes.
any-
He's
Listen. That might be the best thing that is happening to me as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because that is
What?
opening the door for that team to turn on Kevin O'Connell,
oh
and
gosh.
that also opens the door for Tomlin to go back to where he started all his stuff at, back to Minnesota.
Oh man, I hope.
No, bro, we
I-
want him in Las Vegas, dude. Will you hurry up and fire him?
They're not going to
We
fire
want
him. That's the problem.
They're not firing him. They would
We
trade him.
want him.
We'll
what?
take your first round pick for him.
You're not going to get a first rounder for Tomlin.
I mean, Sean Payton fetched a first and a second spread.
yeah, and they've regretted it ever since.
Have they? Denver, I mean, the team that's the 1 seed in the AFC.
I mean, they're
they got
10-2. I doubt.
Yeah,
they're
I don't
regretting
think
it
they're
right now, to
regretting
be
that.
honest.
Rewind. I didn't mean to say that. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Tyler, give me a best bet that's not an award.
All right, let's get in here. Let's scroll through the games because all I've done is spend my time in the woods today. So let's get in.
Bro,
here.
you would hate me. I've been rolling around all day with the drivers, and where we're at, we see deer all the time, and I'm like, "There's my buddies, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, they don't say that when they see
And then
me.
you're out there murdering them. Unbelievable, Tyler.
Yeah, but my first bet of the weekend, actually, it's not even a weekend. We're going to Thursday. Give me the hottest team in the NFL. Give me Dallas +3. I think that they can pressure Jared Goff. I think something's wrong with that team. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't practicing, so that leaves J-Mo on his own. Laporta's gone. All they can really do is run the ball and throw it to J-Mo at that point, and J-Mo turns into a ghost at sometimes. So this could be Goff and his running backs. Mind you, that could be enough. But the way Dallas is playing with Pickens and these guys, I mean, kudos to the Steelers front office. You traded away George Pickens, and he has more receiving yards by himself than your entire wide receiver room. Kudos to you. I think he's very live to win Offensive Player of the Year behind CMC if they win out. He's 80-1 if you want to put that in your pocket too. So don't hate that. And I think that they are going to win this game and just keep building their way up. So give me Dallas +3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man,
I
can't argue with you there. And we talked about earlier, Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and who's the other guy? I mean, they're just built to stop the run.
They have that rookie off the edge too. I can't say his name. Donovan. I ain't even gonna butcher the name.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. They have the best run-stopping defensive line in the NFL, except for maybe Cleveland. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
I love that, man. I think,
and it still feels like the market's a little slow to upgrade Dallas, and I think people are still scared to click Dallas after what they've seen early in the year.
I think it's because if you run numbers like we do,
it's going to come back.
You are not sorting out. Their defense is still going to be like in the 18th, 19th range, where after these trades and then getting the players back that were unhealthy. I can't remember the one guy's name. It's like Overshawn or something.
Yeah.
Such an impact player. It's like, okay. And it's tough, right? And Jamie, you know this too, because you do modeling, right? It's like, okay, so now I changed for Dallas. Well, who else should I change for, right? And you kind of get in this slippery slope of, but so what I do is I don't change it, Jamie, but I just know in my head, my number for Dallas isn't right. Yeah. Because through 6 weeks, I mean, they were down there with the Bengals, right? I mean, in DFS, we're targeting them every week. I mean, it was just like, oh, you're playing Dallas this week, time to get right on offense. I mean, they were in shootouts. We were calling them the NFC Bengals. And so that's why I think the market's slow to adjust, because sportsbooks can make money using simplistic models based off the strength of -110. I mean, just basically, it's like almost like a free power they get. Like every bet you take is your +110. I mean, like imagine if we got +110 on all our picks. That's where they're at. So
yeah, no, you're 100% right, and that's why too I do a lot of like power rating, where so each week I manually am going in and adjusting everyone based off the prior week or prior news of certain players being inactive or active, and all of that. And so Dallas to me they are equal to Detroit right now, to be honest. Like at minimum, I actually have them like a spot ahead of Detroit. The offense is just top 5 in the NFL, and top 5 might even be generous, like could be easily top 3. And then their defense, like I know I referenced the same word earlier, but it's the anchoring bias. We feel like what we saw early on in the year, and that has swayed everyone to think that Dallas defense is just terrible. And the reality is they're just not that same defense anymore, right? Like they're not all of a sudden the top 5 defense, but.
And I think this too, like, let's just say, a team gets out to a 24-0 lead and then they lose. It's like, well, they blew it, right? It's like, well, are we just biased to the first half then, right? Does the first half mean more than the second?
Right.
Or do we give the other team credit for coming back, right? I mean, it's like, they blew it. It's like, so because they won the first, half, it's like almost like we've done that with the Dallas defense. So, Tyler, I'm with you. I can't argue with that one. My next one, boy, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because I'll be honest, could be talked out of it. I was going to take the Jaguars +1 at home.
That was my next play.
Okay, then you're on it with me too, and you can give your reasons why, and then we'll see what Jamie thinks about it. I think if Daniel Jones was an NBA player, he wouldn't play another game for the rest of the year. 100%. I think that's how much that injury is hurting him. But it's just the football culture, and you can't walk into the locker room next season and fire up your teammates when they all know that you sat out when you could have played. It's just a different culture for the NFL. But This version of Daniel Jones is probably 70-60% of what we saw earlier, and it's just affecting the team too much. Now, the Jaguars are a tough team to bet. We talked about earlier, we keep bringing up, the Panthers as a team that it's really tough. We've seen some so bad performances from them. We've seen them look real good. The Jaguars are the same way. But the Colts have always struggled going to Jacksonville for whatever reason. Maybe it's the strip clubs. I don't know. Oh, wait, that's Tampa Bay. But even when the Colts are good and the Jaguars are terrible, the Colts can't win in Jacksonville. So that's just some weird thing that's going on there. So I'm taking the Jaguars. I'll take the money line here. I didn't take the Bears money line, but I'll take this plus 109. Tyler, why are you on the Jaguars?
No, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. I don't think Daniel Jones will play this game if he's an NBA player. I also don't think he'd play this game if Anthony Richardson wasn't out for the season. I think that is the only reason he's playing this game. If Anthony Richardson didn't take himself out for the season with that resistance band and he was still on the bench, I think they'd tell Daniel Jones, you could sit down. We're going to give him a shot right here. We can try and nurse you before the playoffs and see if he could just keep us afloat. But they know Riley Leonard can't keep them afloat. So they have to keep him out there. I think the Jags are starting to come around too. They're starting to realize Tootin and Etienne probably need a little bit more of a split. They have the 3 wide receivers with Myers, Washington, and Thomas now, and Strange is back. They have their full complement of offensive weapons. And I know it was Houston's defense last week, but Daniel Jones can't move anymore. This rush prop, when it comes out again, I'll be on the under again because he didn't rush for a single yard last week. I don't think he can move, and that is one of the things that helped their offense out a lot. He can't move. They stack boxes against Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what much else they can do, so I'm on the Jags here.
All right, Jamie, your thoughts on our pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars? It feels like a team like the Titans. We said we're never betting this team again.
Yeah, I hate being opposite of you two. I truthfully do, but this is definitely one I definitely I like the Indy side. To be honest, so I know that Daniel Jones is banged up and not playing well. But you also just put up the second best EPA, again referencing EPA, against the Texans. That the Texans has seen all season. It was a negative one.
You do realize his EPA ranks so high because of that one touchdown he threw to Alec Pierce, right?
It was. I mean,
that's literally the only reason why it ranks so high.
That's not necessarily true. That's just one play that doesn't.
In that game.
Sure. I also just don't think Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback either, to be honest.
But I mean,
Tyler Warren might go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in this spot. The Jaguars are terrible against.
Brent Strange might too, buddy.
Maybe.
Unless Warren's rushing for 100, I don't think he's gonna be getting the ball thrown to him that many times. Daniel Jones can't stand back here long.
I think we're personally overvaluing all that just a little bit, but I just think the Jaguars, and I know we're sitting there saying oh, it's Daniel Jones, but yeah, we're talking about a Jaguars team that's faced Geno Smith, Davis Mills, Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, a Chargers offensive line that was just completely banged up at the time. I just think that I just don't think Indianapolis is as bad. And again, last week I was also on record about going against Indianapolis as I thought that they were a team that was likely going to come back down to earth a little bit. And I still think they will, but I also think the same thing for this Jags team too. The Jags have had a lot of high variance plays on the defense side of the ball of recovering fumbles and things like that, which again, generally regresses back to the mean eventually. I just think that the Jaguars aren't that great of a team. I think I like Liam Cohen. Again, I was probably the biggest Liam Cohen supporter all offseason and during the beginning of the season. But I also think Shane Steichen is a really good head coach. I think Tyler Warren is going to be Daniel Jones. Yeah, of course. But he could throw the football still. It's not like he is completely dead. I also think Jonathan Taylor is probably just going to smash this game too, to be honest with you. This to me feels like the game where Jonathan Taylor goes for 2 or 3 touchdowns again. Like I said, I just think that this is a good spot for the Colts. And again, I know everyone's talking about what they did recently. Yeah, they just went up against the Texans. They played a tough Kansas City game that was in a must win that, they barely lost, had to play in Berlin. I just think it's been a rough little stretch for them personally. And I just think I would lean towards the Colts side. I'm just not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence and this Jags team in general. I think that they're an average team, to be honest with you. Again, I don't think the Colts are some really great team, but it was just only like 2 or 3 weeks ago where you were also saying that the Colts were like a potential Super Bowl contender, right? So like I just think it's just a
But
slight
their quarterback's
overreaction.
leg wasn't broken. First of all, I didn't think they were back then, but in
I
Tyler's
was
defense,
referencing Tyler on that one.
a lot of our handicap is the fact
I
that
always thought
we
they were
have a
regular
mobile
season
quarterback that's
juggernauts.
playing on a broken leg.
I always
But
thought
we
they
were
were going to
talking-
be regular season juggernauts. I never thought they would. That was always my thing. They might beat one team in the playoffs. Did we ever think they were going to beat a Mahomes-led team in the playoffs if they ran into them? Probably not. Like they would need the C's to part to make the Super Bowl.
Maybe. I just remember we talked about averaging what team would we pick if it was Colts versus New England, and we chose the Colts. I very vividly remember
And I
that.
told you guys like in week 3 when they were 0-3, the Texans were the best team in that division.
And
The Texans are playing the wrong quarterback, let's be honest. They need to put Mills back in because CJ Stroud looks like a trash can.
the Texans, if you just remove the quarterback position, they're probably the best team in the AFC.
Yes.
But of course, you can't just do that. But I'm saying like that team is like legit.
That offense slammed into a wall this week. They luckily survived because of the defense. They need to go back to Mills. Stroud legit took Jaden Higgins out of the game. Jaden Higgins, let's pull up his box, like his game logs from recent games, just to have some fun here to talk about how bad CJ Stroud is. Jaden Higgins.
You love trashing Ohio State quarterbacks, don't you?
Yeah, so Jaden Higgins played, let's see, his first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games with CJ Stroud. He had two for 32, 1 for 28, 1 for 5, 1 for 24 and a touchdown, 4 for 32, 0 for 0. And then in comes Davis Mills. 4 for 55 and a touchdown, 4 for 38 and a touchdown, 5 for 65. Like, he's just gone now. Like, what are we doing? Like, I think you need to go back to Davis Mills. I don't know what's wrong with Stroud, but that is not the same guy we seen his rookie year.
I agree. I don't think they're very good. I don't think he's very good.
I think CJ will get better.
And maybe he
I
will.
think he could get better, but as of right now, with the way this team looks and the way they looked with Mills under center, I put Mills back in the game. I would have told CJ he's got to wait until Mills messes up. You're in concussion protocol till this dude messes up.
I think you roll with CJ. I mean, we know what Mills' ceiling is. CJ could potentially become a guy that was a quarterback that Mills never will.
I agree there,
the Super
but
Bowl, I mean,
with the way this team is set up with this defense, Mills could easily get to the Super Bowl in the AFC with this defense.
No.
He was pelting Nico Collins, he was pelting Jaden Higgins, and he was letting his defense control for him.
Did you say the same as Daniel Jones?
Nowhere near the same.
It's
I'm saying the same idea that I just can't. I can't ever see Daniel Jones making the Super Bowl in the AFC, and I can't ever see Davis Mills.
I mean,
that was what I was saying. It's the same.
I agree with that, but I know
the Texans are a better. The Texans are a better team than the Colts.
But it's not 2001 anymore. Like Trent Dilfer's not winning Super Bowls in 2025.
He might not win it, but Rex Grossman played in the Super Bowl. Like guys like that do play in Super Bowls.
That was like 2006 for Grossman.
Yes, but guess how Rex Grossman got there? On the back of an elite defense. The same way Bills could get there.
That was back when you could practice. It's a different game. Jamie, your next best bet.
So I'm going to do KC under 42.5.
That's a good number. It's 41.5 offshore right now.
Well, to be honest, I did get it at 43.5. It's only 42.5 now. So it's still moving down. I just think this is a pretty good under spot. I mean, again, I don't need to go into much detail. We just talked about how I feel about Houston. I think Houston arguably is the best defense in the NFL. I mean, we could make a case for Cleveland for sure, but I think I would take Houston. I think Houston's, like I said, I think that they're actually a pretty good football team. I get worried about the quarterback, obviously, for sure, but I like Nico Collins. I honestly really like Jaden Higgins. I think he's going to be a stud in this league, and he's starting to finally get enough playing time. So I just think this is going to be a lower scoring game. The Chiefs, to me, feel a little bit off. Offensively, things just don't look right. I think Mahomes is playing really great, but I think he's going to have a hard time here. I think they're still going to be missing an offensive lineman or two. So I like just taking the under here. I'm going to stay away from a side personally. But I would lean with Kansas City probably on the side if I had to. But I do think it's just going to be a lower scoring game. So
if the public bets is out to 4.5, I think I'll play the Texans at 4.5. I kind of agree with you there on the under. Tyler, your thoughts on the Texans and the Chiefs game?
I don't hate the under call. I think that's the best way to approach it. If I was betting the side, I think I'd be with you, Spread. I think I'd take Houston. I mean, I know Kansas City's back.
I think KC will keep taking money though. So
yeah, it's the game. It's now the game of, because people were doing it with Baltimore. They're still doing it with Baltimore. Backs against the wall. Why not just bet them every time? They can't lose. They have to cover the spread, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's all people are going to do. They're just going to run the bet KC, especially with that Andy Reid quote coming out too. How he's going to try and win these games
or something.
Yeah, tickle their tonsils. Like, yeah, I like the under call more than betting a side. But if I had to take a side, I'd probably take Houston.
I do agree. I'm staying away from the side, and it's also one of those things too. Like I feel like we, the casual people generally, like we just are so accustomed to seeing this Chiefs team, and it's hard for us to fathom that like it's over, right? In reality, dynasties end all the time, and sometimes they end kind of abruptly where you just all of a sudden.
But don't you think it could be like the Patriots where they have a bad year and then they retool and they come back and they're okay?
Sure.
I mean, with that head coach quarterback, I don't think the dynasty's over. I just think this season's a rough one.
I mean, the Patriots basically had 2 dynasties in one. They had the early one in the 2000s, and then they didn't do
I think that could
for how many years?
In here too.
Yeah,
I wouldn't count the Chiefs out just because this season sucks.
I think they're going to be a couple years away, to be honest. I just don't know what's going to change on the immediate next year or two that's going to all of a sudden make this team. Because the biggest issue here is like the offense has played honestly pretty okay, but the defense has not been very good. The defense can't get off the field on 3rd and long. So
yeah, but look what the Rams did. You just nail your draft picks and you're fine.
Sure, and if you want to hope that they're going to nail the 28th overall pick, and sure, but like they also just drafted Xavier Worthy, like you know what I mean, like what 2 years last 2 years ago, like the 30th pick. That
doesn't look like the best pick for where he was taken, but in their offense, I think that was the right call.
I mean, maybe he's just. I mean, and he has played injured too, so I'll give him that. But like I said, I don't think the offense is the issue. To me, it's the defense can't get off the field. Any single time, like Mahomes leads the team back.
I think if they had a better offensive line and a better running back, and they could run the ball more,
if they had a lot of
these defensive issues could be masked by playing complementary football.
But if they would have,
you nail an offensive lineman pick like who the Seahawks get in the second round. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a rookie and he's a stud.
I know who you're talking
you just
about.
Got to make picks like that. But he's a guard.
Yeah.
They may pick like that. They're right back.
There was the clip of him talking back and forth with one of the elite edge rushers this season. I can't remember, think of his name.
I can't remember either. I know when he got hurt last week, I was a little worried, but it looks like he's going to be okay. So, okay. So that's our takes on the Chiefs and the Texans. You're going under.
One more thing on the Chiefs. If they would have just came up off that 3rd round pick and got Breece Hall, do we think they would just be in a much better spot right now? Because they would be able to run the ball. They have a pass catching back out of the backfield who can make big plays.
Like I said before, they literally rank like 28th or 29th on 3rd and longs. Like it's 3rd and 7 or longer. They just can't get off the field. Like you just can't be a Super Bowl team.
So you get a running game and then you don't have 3rd and longs. And then it might look way different if you're not doing it.
I'm talking about their defense spread. It's 3rd and long on defense. They are allowing. They can't.
Yeah, but look how quick the Rams turned around their defense. You can turn
I think the other thing too is
the question was Breece Hall spread. It wasn't about a draft pick in the future. He asked about if Breece Hall was on this team. Breece Hall is not going to go play middle linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs and try to stop another team on 3rd and 7. And that is what. Sure, if we live in a hypothetical world where. Maybe next year they go nail a draft pick and they can fix their defense. But I just don't think adding a running back right now is going to – because Patrick Mahomes, how many times the last several weeks has he actually led a comeback drive for then that defense then to allow another comeback drive for the opposing offense, right? Like that has been the theme. And to me, That is the biggest issue with the Kansas City Chiefs. And you're right. There's maybe they go and sign someone, or maybe they do hit on it and the dynasty's back in a year or two. I just think this team, as constructed, is just not like the team that we've seen.
I just think with that quarterback coach combo, your dynasty's never really over until it's just gonna be so easy. It's gonna mask so many of your issues.
I know this is gonna trigger you, but there is a chance if in a year or two something similar like now happens, there's a chance Andy Reid is gone. And I know that's going to trigger you. And I'm not saying that like the Chiefs should go fire Andy Reid right now.
No,
I'm just telling
I'm
you.
not responding to that. Do you guys want to hear my next best bet?
There's a chance. Yeah, what's that?
No chance.
I would
if
not
Andy
be so
Reid is
confident.
gone, it's due to heart disease. He's not getting fired.
He's not getting fired, but there's a chance he retires in 2 years.
I think
Okay,
so.
that's fair. He is pretty old. He's like
There was rumors he was going to retire after the one Super Bowl. So why not after two bad seasons he goes,
that's it. I thought you were saying he was going to get fired.
No, I was like, they're not going to fire.
There's a chance he retires. He is pretty old.
There's definitely a chance it's getting that time. And dude, we see it all the time. 1 or 2 bad years, and you're like, wow, is my window closed? And I get to it's probably tough when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, but Kelsey's going to be gone, and the defense is starting to get older. Chris Jones is getting older. Like it's very possible.
Like this could be a huge casual take, but it feels like a lot of those flags that were going in the Chiefs' favor the last couple of years have flipped, and now they're all going against them.
100%. And also, you and I remember we told Spread this last year about how when the Chiefs were like 12-0 in one-score games, and I kept saying that this always eventually regresses back to the mean. And
when it regresses, it regresses bad. Like
now they're like 1-6 or 1-7 in one-score games. It's like generally one-score games are coin flips, regardless if we like it or not. I know we like to think it is just a quarterback stat, but it hasn't been a quarterback stat this year.
1 point losses in college basketball flips the way it has for the Chiefs because I lost by 1 point, and I haven't had any 1-point wins yet this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I started work at 1 a.m. this morning. That's why I'm a little running on fumes there and misunderstanding what you're saying. So, yes, Andy Reid could potentially retire before then. My final pick, we already talked about it, so we will make it quick. Steve and Meg agree with me. It seems like I'm on the Bills and the Bengals over. All I'm doing here is just targeting 2 bad defenses with above average and pretty awesome offenses here. 53.5, that's fine. I think they'll be sitting at like 35 at halftime, and I'm going to be feeling great about this. I'm going to continue to target these bad defenses, and if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl, Jamie, it won't be because of Josh Allen. It'll be just like your criticism of the Chiefs. The defense just isn't very good. Your thoughts on my over, Jamie?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't really have – I mean, it's a pretty high number, 52.5, but I don't hate the call. I would rather be on the over than the under. I'll just say that. I could definitely see a high-scoring game here. Joe Burrow looked pretty good. The first half was a little rusty, but then I felt like he got kind of in the groove in the second half. I think him and Jamar are just going to start to look better and better. And real quick, just one last recap, because remember, I'm so mad. I gave out last week that 40-1 Jamar Chase 100+ yards, CeeDee Lamb 100+, and Christian Watson 100+. And I knew I shouldn't have been greedy. I should have just took like Christian Watson 80+, which still would have paid out like 20-1. And it would have been great. Instead,
Meg was on the same thing. She told the very same story before you jumped on.
Oh, really?
She had Christian Watson in there too. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, oh my god. So of course it was dead for the first game. So then I was just watching the other games of CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase Eaton. But back to this game. No, I would lean with what you think too. I'd much rather be on the over. I think it could be a really fun game.
Tyler, final best bet for the weekend.
I think this is like a great giant circle of events, and like this is kind of funny because I feel like I've taken all of Jamie's quarterbacks he talks so highly of at the beginning of the year with my best bets today. So why not just round it off with the main one of them all? Give me the Chargers +3.
I love it.
I think his Eagles team's going the other way. I thought Saquon was maybe going to start to come to life last week against a bad Bears team with no linebackers. Still couldn't do it. They still can't throw the ball. Seems like A.J. Brown's fine getting his 10 targets, 100 yards, and a loss. I don't see – their defense is elite, but, again, your defense is on the field so much. And the Chargers can put up points on the board. Omarion Hampton's coming back this week to help out their backfield. Give me the Chargers here, even with Herbert having the broken hand.
It's going to be so funny if you are correct how we look at that Bears win, especially if the Bears do not cover.
You know what's the best
It was
description?
28-6,
You know what's
right?
the best description of the Bears right now? You know that person like in your neighborhood that goes out and buys like the Great Dane that's like the super expensive dog and like it's tripping all over its paws when it's a puppy, but it's an expensive dog, so like you got to take good care of it. That's the Bears. They're not
I've been up since 1 in the morning. I don't get it.
Can you agree? Can you agree that they're not like the Rams? Like you watch them play, they don't look like an elite team, but they win. They stumble over themselves the entire game, and at the end they go, "Oh, we won the game." They're 9-3.
Kind of like the Texans where it's just one guy. I mean, obviously the defense can be improved to be a real contender, but when I'm watching, like, other than Caleb, I'm like, this team can freaking do it. You know, I mean, like, that's how high I'm on Ben Johnson here.
It's just wild because you told me he stunk at being.
I know this is what I love.
I already took my mea culpa on that. I said I was wrong.
That's just what I love because we were all on Ben Johnson for like 2 years. He's like, oh, Ben Johnson this, Ben Johnson that. And then now he's like, I'm in on Ben Johnson. The Bears for the Super Bowl. Give me a ticket.
All you got to do is take off your shirt in the post game, and I'm all for it. It's just like
you got to love Pete Carroll then.
Ask Tyler about Anthony Edwards. I was like, I don't want him. I don't want him. And he does
didn't
one
like Anthony
interview
Edwards
about
he did that
WWE,
interview.
And he's my favorite player.
Yeah, he did that. Remember that one interview where the lady was like, "Do you play any other sports?" He's like, "I play them all: football, baseball." Spread's like, "He's not going to be a good NBA player. There's no way I would draft him." I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
No, then I saw the interview and I'm like, nope, he's clearly the number one pick. Or he'd already been drafted at that point. But yeah.
Now the stuff LaMelo was telling
I'm willing to change pretty quickly here.
Yes.
You can call me Spread Coward here, right? I mean,
like,
have you ever seen those mashups where it's like, him talking shit about Caleb. Caleb's the best. I mean, they can do it for so many, and you can do that with me.
Like, Spread, you got to take some of those interviews with a grain of salt. Like, certain ones, like, you got to read through the sarcasm. Like, when he was doing that one, there's a lot of sarcasm, and there was some funny ones.
I don't think so. I think he really believes I think he believes he could beat Michael Phelps.
I mean, I like that attitude for my best basketball player, so that's not a bad attitude. But the attitude you don't want your guy to have in an interview is when the Warriors sat down LaMelo Ball and they said, "What is your plan after basketball?" And he looked them square in their face with a straight face. "I want to be the president of the United States." They said, "Get out."
Yeah. What about Shedeur?
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said in interviews.
Dude, he was probably just sitting there scrolling. Like, should I DM this chick? Like, didn't even answer probably just talking. Hey, look at this chick that just DM me.
He does do well with the media though. Like his PR training is pretty good. Like he had that post game interview. The coach or the one interviewer asked him something. He's like, "You're trying to turn me against the coach, like making me say the coach messed up." He's like, "No, I'm not falling for that."
Yeah. And one last thing, just about your Bears, because I feel like now we're just like it's a little bit of recency bias because they beat the Eagles. Like just a few, just to go back a few games, or a game before that, they won 31-28 against a Mason Rudolph-led Steelers team. They won 19-17 against JJ McCarthy. They won 24-20 against the New York Giants, and then they won 47-42 against Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Good one.
Great win.
I'll tell you guys one thing.
Great win.
If Denver somehow wins the Super Bowl, I think I'm done with the NFL.
Dude, there is no chance.
Dude, I've said that so many times. I can't.
I'm
quit.
so
Dude,
done. I'm so done with the
NFL.
If the team with the worst quarterback in the league goes,
he's not the worst quarterback in the league.
He stinks. If they go like 14, if they go like 14-2,
this proves that you've never watched a Raiders game all year.
I mean, Gino's terrible too, but Bonix is bad.
The worst.
They play down to everyone they play, and then they play up to everyone they play. Are they just going to show up in the playoffs and just beat everyone?
There is no way. Insert Jesse Pinkman gif. They cannot keep getting away with this. Like
I pray to God they can't keep getting away with this.
Isn't this
I'm
almost
out
like
on
the
this.
Texans though? Like we left them out when we were talking about top defenses, and I don't know. I mean, I think we can argue that they're up there with the Texans and the other defenses we mentioned at the top.
I think they're top 5 for sure. But
They
the
are,
offense,
they're top
Bo
5.
Nix he is a mistake waiting. And like the reality is he does play pretty good in fourth quarters, but it's also like is that also just the best metric? Like, can you not just play a little better through quarters 1 through 3 and
There's
not
going to
be
be
down?
a situation where those first 3 quarters bury that defense so far on the scoreboard, and they're going to be on the field so much that they're going to look at him.
Maybe he just figures it out.
But they're going to look at him in the fourth quarter
know.
and say, you need to play good because we can't get a stop now. We're gassed and they're scoring. And I think that's where it goes bad. Because they can't run the ball worth of anything.
No, they can't. And I'm interested right before we leave, just as right now, it's early. I know we can change. We still have several weeks. I'm just curious.
Oh, I'm going to change.
We know that. Who right now would you pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl? Right now.
Can I write them all down on pieces of paper and put them in a hat and pull one out?
Pull one out. That's what I'm saying. It's like part of me wants to say the Bills just because of Josh Allen, but like the team just is not very good.
To be completely honest, it makes sense. Like it lines up for how they've been a franchise for their entire existence. Yeah. They're gonna somehow escape this AFC that's just average. And guess what? They're gonna finish in second place like they've done their entire lifetime of being a franchise.
That's kind of what I think. I cannot say Colts for all the reasons we talked about. I can't say the Patriots just because I just think the Patriots are still.
Denver's got a pretty good argument here.
I mean,
they have
the
best defense, and they could potentially have. We haven't brought up the Patriots either. Although I don't believe in them. I think the Broncos have a better chance than the Patriots.
I'm on the other side. I think May could beat the team. Yeah, May could beat the defense. Yeah. I don't think Bo Nix could beat Vrabel's defense.
Make a Josh Allen it. Yeah.
I could tell you this: if again we lived in a hypothetical, which of course you can't, you swap Drake May for Bo Nix, the Broncos probably win the Super Bowl.
If Drake May was on the Broncos, I'd have a lot of money riding on the Broncos to win this AFC if he was on that team.
100%. I just think Bo Nix is like one of the reasons that kind of limits them. I think he's the weak link, honestly, of that team.
And
I just think he makes too many mistakes.
Team is either going to be either way better than we thought, faster than we thought, and this is them for the next 10 years, or they're just over exceeding at.
Either that or they're the AFC Bears, right? And they're just beating a bunch of shitty teams.
But they're beating them. Like they look like they're a well-oiled machine last night. It was just like, all right, we're on the field. Here's 30 yards. Here's 30 yards. Here's 15. Here's points.
Dude, Drake back,
so 30, 30, 15, touchdown. Yeah. It's not like the Bears where it's like, oh, they're stumbling around and they lucked out and won the game. It's like, no, the Patriots are pounding these teams.
Yeah, they as a guy who was on the Giants, so I was riding high off my Bengals over the Patriots 2 weeks ago. I was on the Giants last night. I'm like, dude, Drake May is like, oof, man, that guy he is special. Like, it's hard for me to see.
Once again, this is doing it against the Giants.
But you're doing it. He's done it all year, right? Like the numbers are the numbers. At some point, we can't be like 14 weeks of the season and be like, well, he did it against this
same
team.
Arguments for the Bears.
Caleb Williams has not done it all season.
And the big thing about Drake May is like, they went out and got him Diggs, but Diggs doesn't have 100 targets and like 1,400 yards. Like it's not one guy.
50% of the snaps.
Yes,
he's like a part.
He's not even that good anymore.
Everyone.
He's not
everyone
fast anymore.
Gets a piece of that offense.
He's made like Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins like kind of.
Kyle Williams out there catching touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think they might try to add a big piece in this offseason as far as like a wide receiver goes. Like go, you know what? Do me a favor as a Packer fan.
I think
go get Justin Jefferson.
Fall to them. No,
maybe go get Justin Jefferson.
If I'm them, I'm not offense. Like you watched your last guy do it with a bunch of nothing. And Vrabel knows defense is needed.
No, there's about 3 or 4 really good wide receivers, and I think one of them will still be there in the 20s.
If it wasn't the Steelers, I'd bet you that they'd be calling about some of these older guys. Like, hey, you want to come up off of Watt since you're pretty much done? Like, give us an edge rusher that can crash a game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have got Trey Hendrickson, even though he's hurt. Which
I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if they call about him. I wouldn't be surprised if they call Cleveland. Hey, I know he made comments last year and you gave him money, but we got a lot of draft picks. Do you want to get rid of him? Like,
yep. 100%.
Spreads guy is going to want out soon. Max Crosby can't just keep rotting in Vegas.
Yep. Get him out.
We
I'm
call it
pretty
fear
sure-
and loathing, Tyler, not rotting.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's also a Vrabel guy, so he would probably love to go play for Vrabel.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Do we have any more best bets?
Nope, I'm all done.
I think that's it for me. And just
All right, I
to
think
touch on
that's
it, that CMC award, we lost 10 cents on that just doing the show. He's down to 30 to 1.
I saw that.
He said
Yeah.
25 to 1 for FK.
I went
Coolers.
and looked. It bounced back to 30.
Tyler, I don't know how to end the show.
I know there's no video. I told Meg, I was like, you got spread all messed up. He don't know how to start the show. He don't know how to end the show. I was
He's
like,
lost.
my dude is in shambles right now.
100%.
I mean, I'm gonna just hit like the player prop button or something and end the show.
Just get up and walk away. Just leave the show on. Just get up and leave.
All right. Who wants to finish this off before we
We'll give it to our guy Jamie. We need the wise words from Green Bay. We need the Jordan Love pep talk and how they're gonna win and crush the Bears.
Yes, that's how we end. Go take them to win. EPA is the greatest stat ever invented. Because Jordan Love is number one in EPA per dropback, EPA per play. Go bet the Packers, go bet some futures, and we'll cash out in February.
Mike Robb has never listened to Boys to Men because it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Wait, we have an outro? No. How do I get rid of this?
Spread just